ask that all players, coaches, and spectators abide by NAIA Champions of Character values, which are respect, integrity, responsibility, servant leadership, and sportsmanship. Now let's meet the non-starters for the visiting team on the scoreboard with a record of 37-13, McPherson College. Number 4, Isaiah Vasquez. Number 7, Brett Maddock. Number 10, Jake Herman. Number 12, Gregory Niger. Number 13, Hunter Hughes. Number 14, Nathan Roble. Number 16, Sammy Grimm. Number 17, Charles Munns. Number 18, Tyler Carrasco. Number 19, Malik Bond. Number 24, Blake Maddock. Number 30, Drake Miller. Number 33, Darby Gilbert. Number 35, Zach Reynolds. Number 46, Tyler Norris. And number 47, Jacob Gilcrease. And now let's meet the starters for the Bulldogs. Leading off and playing center field, number 21, Chris Perez. Batting second behind the plate, number 15, Trevor Johnson. Hitting third and playing right field, number 6, Kyle Lutz. Batting cleanup and playing second base, number 8, James Kanar. Batting fifth and playing third base, number 27, Jake Pearson. Hitting in the sixth spot and playing first base, number 22, Noah Nelson. Batting seventh and serving as a designated hitter, number 29, Hunter Robinson. Hitting eighth and playing left field, number 1, Jonah Shabry. And rounding out the order for McPherson, the shortstop, number 39, Tyler Wood. And the starting pitcher for the Bulldogs, number 23, Alex Escobar. The Bulldogs are led by head coach Brian Moses, and he is assisted by Kyle McKinnon, DJ Engel, Chris Dawson, Andrew Pratt, and Dalton Horton. And now let's meet the non-starters for the home team on the scoreboard with a record of 43-6, Central Methodist. Number 2, Adrian Martinez. Number 3, Luke Gray. Number 4, Isaiah Davis. Number 6, Jeff Vance. Number 8, Raul Cosme. Number 10, Nate Bray. Number 12, Felix Pena. Number 13, Dylan Brister. Number 14, Winston Welter. Number 17, Ryan Megorian. Number 19, Nick Merkel. Number 23, Jerome Simpson. Number 25, Ryan Jeffers. Number 26, Nate Swenson. Number 27, Tyler Vikers. Number 29, Gannon Ruckman. Number 31, Bo Atkins. Number 33, Alex Riddle. And number 34, Nino Puckett. Now let's introduce the starters for the Eagles. Leading off and playing second base, number 1, Deshaun Cole. Batting second and playing right field, number 22, Kenny Ortero. Hitting third and playing first base, number 9, Logan Herring. Batting cleanup and playing shortstop, number 24, Sergio Macias. Batting fifth and serving as the pitcher and the designated hitter, number 15, Mason Schrellenbach. Hitting sixth and playing left field, number 32, Logan McDonald. Batting seventh and playing third base, number 20, Grant Victor. Doing the catching and hitting eighth, number 5, Max McKay. And rounding out the order for the Eagles, playing center field, number 7, Devin Garcia. And on the mound for the Eagles, Mason Schwellenbach. The Eagles are led by Coach Nate Breland, and he is assisted by Rob Ehlers, Jordan Schwellenbach, and Marco Blanchard.
Welcome to CarShield Field in O'Fallon, Missouri. Colin Surrey and Dominic Hosher with you. This is the NAIA National Championship opening round. It's the host, Central Methodist University, and the Eagles coming in with a 43-6 record. They'll be the home team taking on McPherson College and the Bulldogs. McPherson led this tournament off, or at least this regional off, with a 7-2 victory over Doane. Back-to-back home runs in the late going from Jake Pearson and Noah Nelson put that one out of reach, and it was a really good outing on the mound for the Bulldogs from Tyler Norris. Also got some help from Zach Reynolds and company out of the pen. We got the starting lineups. You heard that from Shane, our PA guy, helping us out in this one. Tim Miller is our producer for this one. And Dominic, we've got some damp, rainy weather. It's starting to let up here. This game was initially supposed to be played at 3:30. Here we are at 4:15 for our first pitch, so we'll see how some wet conditions may affect play out there.
You got to watch out for that, but it will bring in a little nice breeze out there, so it's not too bad of conditions to play in if you're out there playing on the field at the moment. And the energy definitely not killed despite the delay during the break. The both teams staying energetic, staying energized on their sides. So it's going to be a fun game. I mean, both these teams loaded offensively, both talented in the rotation as well. Going to be a fun game, and I don't expect any nerves out here. It's a big game, obviously, in the opening round, but when you come into this game with that kind of energy, you should come off to a good start. And, of course, McPherson, like you mentioned, coming off a win in yesterday's game.
Well, Dominic, you mentioned these teams were staying loose during that delay. I don't think it gets much looser than having a dance battle between the two teams. They were going at it before this one. It was a lot of fun, and almost kind of wish we could have brought that to you as well. I don't know if there would have been any place for us announcing it, but sure would have been entertaining stuff, I would imagine. Here is Chris Perez leading things off. Alex Escobar on the mound for Central Methodist. He delivers ball one to begin things here. Perez, the center fielder for the Bulldogs. He takes here. He's ahead 2-0. Chris, a redshirt senior from Miramar, Florida. And on the mound, Mason Schwellenbach, apologies. Escobar starting for McPherson. Big swing and a miss there at the 2-0.
Lots of power behind that pitch, and you could tell Perez wants to start this game off with a bang. It's a team that has a lot of power coming into this game, plenty on the season. You mentioned back-to-back in the late innings. That time, no contact, but definitely looking for the fences there.
Tried to go the other way. It's out of play to make it 2-2. Mason Schwellenbach also bats fifth in this Eagles lineup today. He is a senior from Saginaw, Michigan.
Player with an ERA just around 215, then hits in the lineup to 392, can do it all.
Off speed, doesn't get the call as it hung around the letters.
All Perez could do was really just watch that one. Just a perfect pitch. He thought the bench wanted it, couldn't get it.
So a big payoff pitch to the leadoff man, Chris Perez. Here it comes. He drops the bat head on it, skies it right into center field. Drifting towards right center. Out there to make the play is Devin Garcia.
You'll take that at bat, though. It's a long one just to get the game going. It works on pitches out of Schwellenbach on the mound, and in doing so, make him a little bit less comfortable. He was able to get the first down, so it's kind of a win-win for both sides, and now you go to the heart of your order with the pitch count a little bit high, and after just one at bat.
Yeah, it's like two heavyweights feeling each other out in the early going. Perez flies out, and now it's Trevor Johnson, the catcher for the Bulldogs, and you look at it, and you see the record for Central Methodist at 43-6 to McPherson's 37-13, and you think, oh, well, advantage Central Methodist, but not so fast. This is the first game that the Eagles have played in this tournament. McPherson already with the confidence of a win. Here's a sharp grounder that splits the gap between short and third. A one-out single for Trevor Johnson.
Like you said, though, the records may indicate that the favorites are Central Methodist, and maybe they still are. They have really strong pitching. They're really well balanced, but this entire McPherson lineup is loaded. You have a Trevor Johnson and a catcher who's just a dangerous bat every time he comes to the plate, batting .421 on the season, already has a single here, and it's just so deep that you can't just discredit them because the record's a little bit worse. I mean, still, 36 wins, 37 now coming into this game. There's a lot of momentum behind this team and a lot of talent, too.
Hunter Hughes will come into courtesy run for Trevor Johnson, and it brings in Kyle Lux, the three-hitter out in front of that first offering. The right fielder hails from Delaware, a redshirt senior.
And a guy that's gone deep 14 times this year. Like we mentioned, lots of power in the lineup. Can't afford to make a mistake against many of these McPherson bats.
Check on the runner Hughes over at first. He's back in head first. Kyle Lux had a rough game against Doane. He was 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts, and I'm sure Lux is one of those guys that you'd have to go back pretty far, if ever in his entire baseball career, to find a game where he ever did that.
And you know that's been on his mind ever since that game yesterday, striking out 5 times, and now you're going against one of the better teams in the entire nation in NAIA level, and you just want to get that sour taste out of the back of your mouth, get off to a good start here, and in doing so, just puts it in the rear view mirror, and you don't really think about it too much longer because you're off to a good start here. So it's all about this first at bat, though, if you want to get those sour thoughts out of your mind.
He's got to protect 0-2. Schwellenbach blows it by him, make it 6 straight here in O'Fallon, Missouri, down on strikes for Lux. And now his teammate James Kanar playing second base and cleaning up for the Bulldogs. Will have to pick him up with 2 outs.
And now that's basically the last result you wanted, obviously, besides the double play there for Lux. You got to get that confidence up, and now, like you said, a 6th straight strikeout. It just kind of dampers your mood a little bit. So now Lux is in the dugout, just needs that words of encouragement because right now 6 straight strikeouts is going to kill his confidence level and everything really going for him.
Check on Hughes. He's back in. A little closer that time. The throw wasn't quite there. Had it been, it would have been a very close play.
But now 99 strikeouts on the season for Schwellenbach. I mean, his numbers are just incredible coming into the game. We talked about offensively, pitching, a player that can do it all. Such a rare thing in this game.
This one fisted towards the right side. Running out of room, though, as it reaches the seats. Chased down over there by Kenny Otero. In the outfield, it is Logan McDonald in left. In center field, Devin Garcia. Otero out there in right. In the infield, Grant Victor at third. Sergio Macias at short. Deshaun Cole at second. And Logan Herring playing first base. Max McKay behind home plate for Mason Schwellenbach. Again, will be batting 5th in this Eagles order. The 0-1 to James Kennard. At the knees, 0-2.
Going against a pitcher as strong and powerful as Schwellenbach is, can't afford to fall down in holes like 0-2, 1-2, any of those. And doing so, now you put yourself with your 1 foot back in the dugout already. Have to stay strong in this at-bat. Hard to stay patient. A guy that likes to attack the strike zone like Schwellenbach has 99 strikeouts now on the year. Just a difficult task.
Make it 100. Reaches the century mark with the strikeout of James Kennard. Mason Schwellenbach only needs 4 batters to get through the top half of the inning. Now it'll be Deshaun Cole, Kenny Otero, and Logan Herring due up Sergio Macias if anyone can reach for Central Methodist and the Eagles when we return on the Central Methodist Digital Network.
How do you make traditional education more effective for today's job market? You transform it at Central Methodist University. Now the only limit to your education is your imagination. The new Digital U, available only on the campus of CMU. Be more.
And now we are into the bottom of the first inning. Good work by Mason Schwellenbach on the mound, and it brings in Alex Escobar, the starter for the Bulldogs. Escobar, a junior from California, and the lineup he will face for the Eagles will be composed of Deshaun Cole leading things off. Kenny Otero bats second, Logan Herring third. Sergio Macias cleaning things up. Schwellenbach, the pitcher, bats 5th. Logan McDonald batting 6th. Grant Victor in the 7-hole. Max McKay bats 8th. And Devin Garcia at the bottom of the lineup for Central Methodist University. Just 6 losses in 49 games this season. Here's Deshaun Cole, the senior from Pontiac, Michigan. Tipped off the mitt. It is Trevor Johnson behind home plate. Sharp breaker over the outside edge. Deshaun Cole's quickly behind 0-2. And quickly down on strikes, Cole. They had him shifted on the infield. Second baseman Kennard was very close to the bag, but it didn't matter. It took only 3 pitches for Escobar to take care of Deshaun Cole, and now Kenny Otero.
It's been an up and down year for the starting pitcher in Escobar, over 5 ERA, but coming into this game, getting off to a good start like that can help.
Chopper towards third. 4 pitches, 2 down. A good scoop over there at first by Noah Nelson. And it brings in Logan Herring, the first baseman for Central Methodist. Herring, a senior from DeKalb, Illinois.
Can't really ask for a better start, can you, Colin? I mean, the first 2 batters, first one down on strikes on 3 pitches, and then the next one swings first pitch, ground out over to third. So if you're Escobar, quickly attack this batter as well. Otero, definitely a great hitter, but get him down quickly, get out of the inning quickly.
Shift on for the lefty power hitter Logan Herring, who watches ball 1. Third baseman Pearson essentially on line with where you would normally see a shortstop. And the shortstop, Tyler Wood, is nearly right behind the bag at second. Deep in the hole at second base is James Kennard. And it's quickly 3-0 to Logan Herring with 2 out and nobody on. So you get that great start. Now all of a sudden Escobar's lost the zone here. gets the call there.
That was the red light the entire way that time. If you're the hitter after a senior first 2 batters go down on 4 pitches, just work them a little bit.
Next one comes low and inside, and now we'll see a full count pitch.
That's a good fight back by Escobar. Difficult spot to be in against the number 3 hitter in a really deep, strong lineup. Fought back and got right back into the count.
Payoff pitch skips in with a fastball. That caught blue behind home plate. Good hustle there by Trevor Johnson to run it down. It holds Herring at first base, and Sergio Macias coming to the plate. Sergio, a senior from Laredo, Texas.
The player of the year in the Heart of America Athletic Conference, and just video game numbers again for him. Batting over 400, on base percentage at 500. I mean, for a cleanup hitter, just amazing numbers. Has the power too from that right batter's box.
First pitch over the outside corner for a call strike. Escobar bringing some heat from the stretch with a 1-0-1, This one into the gap in left center, going back. Unable to make it. It hits off the base of the wall as Shabry gave chase. Relay throw. It's a 2-out RBI double, scoring Logan Herring from Sergio Macias. The video game numbers continue to roll in.
We talked about the perfect start that Escobar got off to. First 2 batters down quickly, but that just shows how dangerous this Eagles lineup really is. You get to Herring, and he's able to be patient, draw that 2-out walk, and then Macias doesn't waste too much time at all. Someone as talented as him got the perfect pitch he wanted and put it in the perfect place, too. Lots of power behind it, nearly over that fence, too. But for Central Methodist, what a response after going down quickly with the first 2 outs.
Here's the pitcher for the Eagles, Mason Schwellenbach, taking strike 1 at the knees. And no doubt, Dominic, I think that's the mark of an elite team in just about any sport, that quick strike ability. These Eagles putting it on display in the first inning. 1-1 the count now to Mason.
And they look completely overmatched their first 2 at-bats. You think it's going to be a quick 1-2-3 inning, but like you said, the great teams are able to bounce back quickly with their great players. That's what Herring and Macias were able to do.
Schwellenbach sticks the bat out there, serves it into shallow right field. It drops in, and coming all the way around to score from second base is Sergio Macias on the 2-out RBI bloop single from Mason Schwellenbach.
I mean, how special is he? He can go on the mound and give you a quick top of the first inning, and then when he's at the plate on the other side of it, you can feel confident in him being able to bring in any kind of run, whether it's at second or third. So, I mean, Schwellenbach, he has the power, and he's just powerful on the mound, powerful at the plate, too. And having a player like that, I mean, in the major league level, you talk about Shohei Ohtani and how much love he's getting at the moment and just how special of a player he is. It's just so rare to find someone who can do both things for you.
That one fouled off of Logan McDonald in the box. McDonald playing left field for the Eagles. He is a sophomore from Goodyear, Arizona. The score is 2-0 Central Methodist. Escobar got the first 2, and Cole and Otero. Since then, damage being done by these Eagles. An RBI double from Sergio Macias, and then Mason Schwellenbach driving in the next. This one off the end of the bat into left field. And taken in out there by Jonah Shabry, but not before the Eagles strike for 2. We head to the second inning. It'll be Jake Pearson, Noah Nelson, and Hunter Robinson coming to the plate for McPherson and the Bulldogs. You're watching the Central Methodist Digital Network.
At last, an approach to teaching and learning that connects the traditional classroom to the real world at Central Methodist University. Now you can learn the way you live and the way you'll work with the new Digital U, available only on the campus of CMU. Be more.
Welcome back to O'Fallon, Missouri. It's CarShield Field where Central Methodist and the Eagles are hosting this NAIA opening round regional bracket, and they're off to an excellent start here in the first inning. Some two-out damage as Logan Herring drew a walk. Macias drove him in with a double. Then Schwellenbach did the same for Macias with an RBI single of his own. Now it will be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, Pearson, Nelson, and Robinson, due up for the Bulldogs. And Dominic, we talked a little bit about, how dominant this Central Methodist team has been all year. And then on the flip side, McPherson already getting their feet wet, no pun intended, with the weather here today, but already a game under their belt in this tournament and a victory. So far, Central Methodist, their numbers have held true through just one inning of play, however.
I mean, you said it. Video game numbers are the highlight and the key two words we've said so far. This team can be so good on the mound pitching. They have one of the two best duos you'll see in the entire tournament here, between Merkel, who's the pitcher of the year in this conference, and then, of course, who we're watching here today in Schwellenbach. But then they have the offense, too, just to pounce like they did with 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. They have the deep lineup all around. Just an incredible team that's had an incredible season.
Yeah, you get a couple of dogs at the top of that rotation, and it makes it awfully difficult to try to scratch a win against a team like this. And the Eagles, such a complete team, but then, like you mentioned, Dominic, maybe their biggest strength, those two right at the top of that rotation. It's a 2-1 count here to Jake Pearson. Pearson, a senior from Hera, Oklahoma. From the windup on the first base side of the rubber, sharply on the ground, a diving attempt at third. Grant Victor can't come up with it. A leadoff single for Jake Pearson, the second hit of the game for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, in that top of the first, you had that good long at-bat from Perez, but he flew out in the single by Johnson. After that, though, Lux and Kennard both just shut down quickly on strikes, both of them striking out. So needing to have a good start here. Obviously, you just saw on the other side of things, the other offense get going, get 2 runs in the bottom of the inning. Now it's time for you to do the same. They have the talent in that lineup. Nelson, Pearson, you mentioned they're coming off a win yesterday, and it was just well-balanced. You only allowed 2 runs, 7 runs scored. That's the kind of one you want to start off a tournament run.
Nelson out in front of the first offering right there from Schwellenbach, and I was talking about Pearson and Nelson going back-to-back with home runs in that first game that they played in this tournament. They could use some of that damage here. They hit moonshots. First one into left field, and then Nelson yanked it all the way over that car shield sign out there in right field over that 40-plus foot wall. He's behind in the count, 0-2 here, though. Mason Schwellenbach controlling things. Oh, 2, low and away.
A little bit of speed on first base right now. Pearson, 9 for 11 in terms of stolen bases this season, so got to keep an eye on him. And no one's attempted one yet, but of course, when you're already trailing 2-0, maybe you just want to start being more aggressive on the base paths.
Schwellenbach set with a 1-2. That one at the shins evens the count.
You have to wonder for a second there, maybe even Nelson expected that one to be called a strike as he quickly turned his back, and the dugout arguing their case didn't get the call. But either way, when Schwellenbach misses, it's usually not by too much. He continues to be aggressive, attacking the strike zone, being fearless against this really talented Bulldogs lineup.
Yeah, and Mason took an extra couple of steps in towards home plate after that last pitch. Now it's 2-2. Looked like a changeup that had Nelson out in front. That was the pitch of choice in that AB. 2 down in the inning, 1 out in the inning, 3 strikeouts already for Mason Schwellenbach, and that's 101 on the year, as you pointed out. Dominic came in with 99.
And he didn't let that single rattle him. Just like in the first inning, Johnson got on, 2 straight strikeouts after that. He doesn't let that get to his head. He stays locked in, and in doing so, he just proves to be too dominant to face if you're the opposing batter.
Hunter Robinson now to the plate with a runner on first. Fastball is outside to begin this plate appearance. Robinson is the designated hitter in this one. He's a junior from Edgewood, Texas. 1-0 from Schwellenbach. Chop foul up the third base side.
Looking at Schwellenbach's numbers right now, and in terms of pitching, he's 2 straight games in a row without giving up a run, at least so far. Most he's given up recently came back on April 24th, just 2 earned runs against Baker. That's the most he's given up in recent history. The most all season was 6, but that was all the way back in late March. Since then, dominant. 2 or less runs in each outing. It's just remarkable consistency.
Ooh, nearly picked off the runner over at first base, Jake Pearson right there. Count is 1-1 with 1 out to Hunter Robinson. RBI hits from Sergio Macias and the pitcher Mason Schwellenbach in the first inning to give Central Methodist a 2-0 lead. Half-hearted swing at that outside pitch makes it 1-2 to Robinson now.
Shaking his head a little bit there is Robinson. I don't think he wanted to completely swing that time. Like you said, half-hearted, and it led to him swinging on something that was way out of the strike zone.
Schwellenbach in the driver's seat once more. First he'll check on Pearson, who's back in head first. Mason comes home with it, has another strikeout. And with the runner on first, the drop strike does not matter. 2 down, 4 Ks through an inning and 2/3, and now Jonah Shabry coming to the plate.
Again, just overmatching the McPherson batters, and that time dipping out of the strike zone. Looked enticing for a moment there for Robinson, but as soon as he swung, of course, it left in. It just was unhittable. And again, that's not the first time we've said that today. He can overpower you with his velocity. He can out-finesse you as well, making him such a dominant outing, or dominant pitcher for Central Methodist.
Jake Pearson stuck on first after that leadoff single. Here's a blooper into right field. Charging in to make the play is Kenny Otero. And just like that, another 0 on the board for Mason Schwellenbach. Central Methodist leads it 2-0. You're watching the Central Methodist Digital Network. Bottom 2 from Carshield Field in O'Fallon, Missouri, where it's a 2-0 lead for Central Methodist over McPherson College. It's the bottom of the order coming up for the Eagles. Grant Victor, Max McKay, and Devin Garcia to face Alex Escobar in the bottom of the second inning. Colin Surrey alongside my partner Dominic Hosher and Tim Miller with us producing. Rain coming down once more here in the bottom of the second. We had some pretty intense rain that delayed the start of this one. Was supposed to be 3:30, 4:15 is when we got going here. First pitch, chopped towards third, coming in, gloving it. Pearson across the diamond. 1 pitch and 1 out in the bottom of the second.
Eagles not wasting any time in their at-bats so far. We saw them be aggressive in the first inning. It paid off with 2 outs, with the later hitters in Macias and company. That time, Victor saw something he liked. They didn't want to waste time. That's not their strategy here. They know they're confident with their bats, and rightfully so, with how many runs they're scoring per game this season. And that time, they saw a pitch they liked, and they swung again.
Bulldogs pretty liberal with their defensive alignments. We see a shift on here once again for the left-handed hitting Max McKay. The backstop. Catcher, if you will, for Central Methodist. Good pitch over the low and inside corner. He's behind 0-2.
Perfect location that time. If you hit it, it's not going to be the greatest contact, and Escobar knows that, so can hardly put it any better than that. We'll see if he goes right in the same area.
His 0-2 caught a little bit more of the plate. It's fouled straight back.
This is the bottom of the order for the Eagles, but it doesn't seem like it with how well all the three are hitting. You have Garcia down to the 9th spot, batting .290 on the year. McKay here, batting over .400. Having a lineup that deep, I mean, imagine being the other pitching staff.
I mean, that's absurd, having your 8-hitter with an average over .400. Now, I called some games for a team this year that put their best hitter in the 9 spot every game, and he was hitting around .360 or so, not over .400 like Max McKay is. He chops this one foul.
I don't mind that strategy either, Colin. I mean, you think if you're the other pitcher, get through the heart of the line, if you get to the bottom of the order, you feel like you have that out at the 9th spot. It's one of their top hitters, and you don't have that easy out. Then it's almost a second leadoff hitter as well, getting it back to the top of the order. Makes your lineup even deeper.
McKay drops the bat head on it and slaps a single into left center. And just like that, he adds to that 400-plus average. Devin Garcia, the 9-hitter, coming to the plate. And, you know, Dominic, going back to that, I think it's an interesting conversation to have. You know, if you look strictly by the numbers, and the numbers people in the game will tell you, no, you got to bunch all your best hitters together and try to give yourself the best chance to score. But anyone who's played baseball or anyone who's been a pitcher will tell you there's something to be said about that consistent pressure that's being applied to you if you're able to do it as an opponent.
And if you're in this situation as Escobar, you hit a bit of an up-and-down first inning where you already gave up 2 runs. You're already frustrated about that. There's not really that exit at the end of the lineup either, that kind of relief to get you through it. And you have Devin Garcia here who's a capable hitter. There's no easy outs in those kinds of lineup. If you have the depth to do so, why not put someone to 9th spot and give that pitcher that lack of relief? And in doing so, it just adds on the pressure to them, and it gives your offense more opportunity to score, and it's already paid off for Central Methodist.
Ahead in the count, 2-0. This one sliced through the hole. Big hole there between first and second base. A beautiful piece of hitting by Devin Garcia going the other way. And 2 men on with 1 down now.
Kind of the opposites there. You had McKay, who put himself in an 0-2 hole, but still was able to fight through it and get on. Then Devin Garcia, he was patient, getting himself into a good spot, and in doing so, he was able to single. So this team, they're having smart at-bats, and they're just doing their part right now from 1 through 9. Again, Garcia and McKay now sitting into the top of the order.
Alex Escobar trying to recultivate the feels that he had to open this game when he had a 3-pitch strikeout of Deshaun Cole. Here he comes to the plate again, swinging and missing at the first. Oh, 0-1's popped up behind home plate, giving chase, but running out of room over there is Trevor Johnson. So quickly it's 0-2 to Deshaun Cole. Back-to-back singles from the bottom of the order, Max McKay and Devin Garcia. Max at second, Devin at first base. Cole tied up in knots. 2 down in the inning now.
That high inside heater, always such a difficult pitch. If you're the batter, already 0-2, you're already uncomfortable due to that. Then you have that pitch inside. It lights up your eyes a little bit because you see it rising and rising, but that time just couldn't catch up, and a frustrating start for Cole. But exactly what Escobar needed. But again, 2 outs. This is where you need to be able to get that 3rd out. That was the problem in the first inning. Can't allow it to be the problem in the second.
Kenny Otero calls time before the first can come home from Alex Escobar. Yeah, Escobar struck out Cole like he did here in the second inning, and now a hit from Kenny Otero. He blasted it up the middle. Might be a play at the plate. Sliding in safely. There's a runner for McKay, Gannon Ruckman, who comes around to score. Makes it 3-0 on the RBI single once again with 2 outs, this time from Kenny Otero.
First pitch swinging to wasted no time. Credit the effort out there at center by Perez. Nearly had the runner McKay at the plate. It was a good throw and just took one hop, and that one hop was too many. But again, like you said, Central Methodist, doesn't matter how many outs are there, they're going to come through, and that time it was Otero who started off the game 0 for 1, was able to get back on track with that at bat.
So trouble early on the mound for Alex Escobar. They come out to have a discussion with him, and we talked a little bit about where it can be an advantage for McPherson already getting some game action in this tournament. Another one of those disadvantages, now you start talking about what kind of arms are available playing back-to-back days when your opponent has everything at their arsenal in terms of going to their bullpen. So we'll see what kind of dynamic that plays and how long McPherson wants to ride Escobar in this game if it gets out of hand here early on.
That's how important it was for Central Methodist to be able to earn that first day off, and in doing so, now you face a team that's already had a game, and like you said, maybe a shorter pitching staff than usual, or at least when they're all at full strength. And now, get aggressive early, score these many runs in the first, and tire out this opposing pitcher in Escobar. You're going to get to that bullpen again, and some of those guys have already pitched recently possibly. It's all boding well right now for this Central Methodist team.
Logan Herring ahead in the count 1-0. He got the 2-out rally started with what seemed like an innocuous 2-out walk. Was driven in immediately by Sergio Macias. And now he's ahead in the count 2-0. This rain coming down consistently right now. And it appears as if this wind is blowing in from about right center, maybe I would say. This one popped up by Herring, drifting out of play to the left side over the dugout of the Eagles.
As that wind continues to blow and the rain continues to fall, those plays are going to be a nightmare for anyone out there in the outfield or even here in the infield, too, with how much the ball's going to move up in the air, too, and rain falling down as well. They make it look so easy out there, but it really isn't, with the ball just trailing and trailing. It's so difficult to read. We'll see if that plays a factor as this game goes on, but like that time again, just continues to push its way out to the third base side. But for Escobar, this is kind of the second straight start column where it just hasn't been his best, and he struggled early last time, May 8th, against Ottawa. Didn't get past the first inning, gave up 4 runs against Kansas Wesleyan. 3 days before that, 4 innings, 9 earned runs allowed. So it just hasn't been his best form recently, and it comes at the wrong time for this opposing team.
And Herring continues the onslaught from the Eagles. Throw comes into the cutoff man, and if that throw comes home, they might have had a shot, possibly at Devin Garcia, who scores on the 2-out RBI single from Herring. Otero to third. They've got runners on the corners with 2 outs for Sergio Macias.
We'll see how long they stay with Escobar. Again, just it has to be so frustrating if you're the pitcher. You're able to get those 2 outs and you're feeling good despite maybe runners being on. Unable to find that elusive third out at the moment. It cost them in the first, and it's done the exact same here in the second. Now you're facing the player of the year from his conference in Macias. It doesn't get any more difficult than that in this Central Methodist lineup.
Looks like Drake Miller warming up, the right-hander out there for McPherson and the Bulldogs. Count is 1-0 to Sergio Macias. The wind picking up. This rain coming down hard. Macias fights that one out of play, 1-1. Next from Escobar. Tried to come back to the outside corner. He missed it, 2-1.
Now, you can't fall behind a hitter as good as Macias. You've already had your difficulties so far. Falling down 2-1, not easy.
And this one's into center field. Racing in, a diving attempt. It's missed. Right fielder Kyle Lux over there to grab it. An RBI double. And Central Methodist continuing their excellent play. Make it 5-0.
2 for 2 with 2 doubles is Macias. Another really good at bat, was able to get himself into a favorable count, and that got him the favorable pitch as well. That time just hammering out to right center. I believe it was left center last time as well. So someone who can really do it all for this Central Methodist team, and it's working out again, and Escobar continues to have his struggles.
5 2-out RBIs. And we're not even through the second inning. Here's Mason Schwellenbach. He had one of those 5 RBIs back in the first inning. Has also gone 2 scoreless on the mound. That pitch might have been a little bit low and away for the liking of Schwellenbach. The count's 0-2. And he reaches the bat out there, singles it right back up the middle. One comes home. Here comes Macias. The throw is late. 7-0. Schwellenbach's driven in 3.
And that's the one that just sums it up the most. It's an 0-2 count quickly after just 2 pitches. The third one is driven out to center again. I mean, this Eagles team, we talked about how strong their lineup is. They're fully showing it so far from 1 to 9. This was started from the 8th and 9th hitters. You had McKay getting on, Garcia getting on. That started this entire surge here in the second.
The Indianapolis native Isaiah Davis out to run at first base for Schwellenbach. Counts 0-1 to Logan McDonald. He flew out to left field to end the first. And he hits a screamer into the dugout of McPherson. Heard that hit something pretty hard, which tells me luckily it probably wasn't a person.
That's why you always better be paying attention if you're in the dugout, how quickly it can come to you.
Tried to jam him again. Good job by McDonald to fight it off. Counts 0-2. 5 have scored in the inning for the Eagles. This rain continues to not necessarily intensify, but it is a consistent driving rain right now. Tap behind home plate. We'll do it again, 0-2. Escobar brushes him back. Now Alex steps off the mound. One, two. Looked like it might have slipped out of his hand, and understandably so.
If that's back-to-back pitches where it's been the same thing. He's trying to move it inside and almost too far inside, especially with wet conditions.
2-2, fastball. Jammed McDonald, but again, these Central Methodist batters, I mean, we're seeing a lot of really good 2-strike pitches from Escobar, and the Eagles are just making things happen and fighting off good pitches at the same time.
And in doing so, that gets an even better pitch in your arsenal. That's what led to the runs.
I mean, look at this at-bat right now from Logan McDonald. He's worked it back full, taken some tremendous pitches, fouled off some great pitches. 51 total pitches on the mound for Alex Escobar, and he's yet to get through 2 innings. The 2-2 ties up McDonald into center field right at Chris Perez, who squeezes it for the third out, but not before Central Methodist puts 5 more on the board. They lead it 7-0 as we move to the top of the third. You're watching the Central Methodist Digital Network. Colin Surrey and Dominic Kosher with you on the Central Methodist Digital Network. Rain is coming down hard, and our umpires are having a discussion out here right now. And it looks like we're going to try to play here. Yeah, Blues asking for some baseballs behind home plate, so that's a good sign. Turf field here. And drains pretty well at O'Fallon, Missouri, here at Carshield, but there's only so much rain that it can withstand. Yep. We'll see how it holds up here. It's the 9-hitter Tyler Wood leading things off for McPherson, Chris Perez, and then Trevor Johnson after him. Mason Schwellenbach has driven in 3 runs at the plate, and he's pitched 2 scoreless on the mound. He starts out 1-0 to Wood.
The way this game's gone so far, Central Methodist does not want this game to go into a delay. It's been a perfect start offensively on the mound as well. Goes into a delay. Maybe just gives McPherson a chance to kind of reset. So right now, the best opportunity for them is just to continue pushing on and avoid any kind of delay that could, one, halt their pitcher today in Schwellenbach, and then their bats as well.
Yeah, I think I saw Nate Breland, the head coach for Central Methodist, come out and talk to these umpires, and you can bet that's what his reasoning was behind his argument to keep playing. I mean,
probably.
Schwellenbach's killing it out there. You do not want to stymie the momentum that he has built out there on the mound. He's got a 2-2 count here to Tyler Wood. And I'll tell you what, Dominic, these few fans that are still sitting in the seats are brave. I'd be under the awning behind the seats. I know that for a fact.
I'm just trying to see the upside of staying in the seats. I don't know. You're getting poured on. I respect it, definitely, but there is quite a few fans under there, too. But like you said, respect for the fans that are sitting.
They're diehard baseball fans, and they got the best view in the house. Any seat to pick from as the count runs full.
Or maybe they're superstitious on the Central Methodist side.
That's right. If you're a Central Methodist fan, you better stay put.
Yep.
Schwellenbach comes in with it, and that's fair down the left field line. No, now a motion that it's foul.
Wow.
Got a ground rule double, actually. Apologies. I saw the motion for fair initially and then saw the hands go up. It was for the dead ball ground rule double, not a dead ball foul ball.
It's kind of an unlucky break there. Maybe he had a chance for 3. Not sure about the opportunity there, but either way, how about that at bat by Tyler Wood? It's exactly what they needed, but this has been the problem. They've been able to get 1 runner on. They did so in the first. They did so in the second. Weren't able to do anything past that because Schwellenbach was able to settle down.
Here is Chris Perez taking one over the inside edge to make it 0-1. Jake Pearson led off the second inning with a single, and then back-to-back strikeouts from Nelson and Robinson, and Shabry flew out. Let's see if the Bulldogs can do something with the leadoff double from Tyler Wood. Schwellenbach comes home with it over the inside corner again, this time with the off speed to make it 0-2.
Just freezing Perez. I mean, you can't ask for a better pitch that time. Going from the inside into this bottom part of the strike zone, I mean, it's almost unhittable, and all I can really do is watch. And you have to think how much more difficult it is to hit a pitcher that's as locked in as Schwellenbach. When the rain comes down, maybe the bat's a little bit more slippery and harder to see as well.
In 0-2, fastball ripped right back where it came from. Runner at second base had to head back to the bag, and Tyler Wood, so they're on the corners, still nobody out in the top of the third.
And no reason to risk it there if you are Wood. just to stay at third. You haven't had a run yet offensively. It's been a challenge. Just stay there, stay put, and in doing so, you have the Hardy order now. Johnson, Lux, and Canal are on the way. Your bats are starting to feel alive a little bit. And we talked about maybe it's difficult to hit off a pitcher when it's pouring down rain, especially as good as Schwellenbach. Then you think about on the other side, you kind of touched on this in the top of the inning with Escobar's issues and just being able to find the strike zone or in the bottom part of the second inning. And maybe it's harder to throw as well. It's a little bit more slick coming out, and we saw it slip a couple times against Escobar. Maybe that's what Schwellenbach's dealing with too.
Off the fists, a liner softly over to third base. Grant Victor hauls it in with no problem. One down, and the runners have to stay put on the Trevor Johnson line out. Kyle Lux comes in now.
Yeah, Johnson extremely frustrated with himself that time. Just tossed the bat and was able to get back up and shaking his head going over to the dugout. He liked the pitch that he got, and he thought he had an RBI single there over to the third baseman. Couldn't loop it over him, and now one out. Can't afford to go without a run here with 2 runners on.
Lux out in front of that one, taps it behind home plate. Talked about the struggles for Kyle. He's looking to break out in a big way here in the third. An important moment with Central Methodist putting up 5 in the second inning. Important for the Bulldogs to let them know, hey, we're still hanging around here and at least score in this third inning. That one gets away from the catcher, McKay, and it allows the first run to score. It's Tyler Wood crossing home plate for McPherson.
He'll take it any way you can get it. Really good base running again by Wood. Wasn't overly aggressive on the single that came from the bat of Perez, and doing so put himself at that third base spot. And now look, it paid off. He was aggressive that time and perfectly read it. As soon as that one bounced away, he was going, and it led to their first run. And like you said, just to say that they're still here. They're still fighting despite being down by now 6.
Perez now to second base. McKay keeps this one in front, gets tangled up there with Lux. Count is 2-1 to Kyle Lux. And back to what you were talking about with the rain, Dominic, I always kind of thought it was advantage hitter in this scenario. Maybe a little bit different with turf, just because the conditions on the mound can start to become subpar. Your landing spot becomes inconsistent out there. Maybe that's not as much of an issue out here right now, but your grip on the baseball, and then for a catcher, the ball reacts differently off of the turf when it's raining, trying to stop some of those breaking balls, as we see one of those breakers get pulled foul, as opposed to, a natural field in ideal conditions. So some things to think about in this one. The count is 2-2 here to Kyle Lux.
I mean, before that pitch right there, that was 2 straight that slipped and went too low, led to the run being scored. And the second time, unable to keep in front of him again was McKay. So you have 2 perfect examples right there.
2-2. Good take by Lux. And he's earned a full count pitch. James Canar stands on deck. Still only 1 out. Here in the top of the third, the Bulldogs have scored their first run of the game on a wild pitch. This one, Lux in front of it. Hops over the wall into the seats.
That's a pitch that the Bulldogs have really struggled to hit so far, curling in. They've mainly just been watching it go in so far and haven't been able to make contact, but that time just really good job by Lux staying alive. He's had his struggles, can put those away right now if he's able to drive in that run from second.
No doubt, Dominic. It's all set up off the fastball from Schwellenbach. Payoff pitch is that fastball. Good job to stay alive by Lux. And he'll face a third straight full count pitch now. Schwellenbach again Lux underneath it into deep left field. It's carrying back at the wall and gone. Kyle Lux delivers a 2-run shot, and the Bulldogs back within 4, 7-3.
How about that to break out of a slump? You strike out 6 at-bats in a row. Forget it all now with that deep shot. Good for Lux and this offense that desperately needed that spark, and the power of Lux has been on display all season. A slugging percentage over 700, now make it 15 long shots on the year for him in that 3rd spot, and that's how you break out of a slump perfectly. Now expect him to really get going, this team to get going. It was 7-0 after just 2 innings, and look at the job they've done in just getting their energy back. They dug out now, getting a little bit more excited, and rightfully so, with the rally of the bats here in the 3rd.
James Kennard was still only 1 out in the 3rd, fouls it back to make it 0-1. And how about just the at-bat in general from Kyle Lux? That was the 9th pitch of the at-bat right there, and the 4th consecutive full count offering that he had faced. And he takes a yard.
Just did an incredible job of staying alive, Colin. I mean, how many of those pitches he was just barely on, and in doing so, just gave him that chance to find that one more pitch he wanted, and he sure got on the 9th one of the at-bat and made no mistake about it. Now it's up to the rest of the lineup. Even if they can't get anything here, chip away at this lead and do so in the next couple of innings.
0-2 spoiled. And, you know, the great ones at the plate just have that knack for doing that with 2 strikes, just battling you and sticking the bat out there at times, protecting, and then that one comes in that they can do something with and they won't miss it. That's what we saw from Kyle Lux. Now James Kennard trying to do the same. 1-2.
Now if you're on the other side of things and you're Schwellenbach, you were able to get through the first 2 innings with really no trouble. You did allow 1 base runner per inning, was able to bounce back after those base runners were able to get on. Now in this inning, same thing going to happen. You allowed that leadoff double to Wood, but then the press single just showed that things were kind of changing there.
Call strike 3. The fastball tails back over the outside edge. And that's the 5th of the game for Schwellenbach. 2 out in the inning and nobody on, with 3 home already in this top of the 3rd, and Jake Pearson coming to the plate.
Just painted the outside of strike zone there, and Kennard was just frozen, and that's the perfect response. If you're on the mound for Schwellenbach, after allowing 3 runs in that big shot by Lux, bouncing back with a strikeout, exactly what he needed.
Tried to bury that one low and inside, doesn't get the call. Spins off a breaker for a call strike over the inside corner.
Just to show how good this pitching staff has been all year long for the Eagles. They're allowing less than 3 runs per game, and that's a testament to their electric rotation, their lockdown bullpen. Combine them, and it's led to great numbers.
Hung that one a bit, and it drops in front of the left fielder, Logan McDonald, for a 2-out single.
That's what happens when you put 2 great offenses against each other. I mean, you have great pitching from Schwellenbach, but sometimes a great offense will prevail, and right now it's doing so for the Bulldogs. You had the big hit by Perez, and then, of course, the 2-run shot by Lux, and now you're seeing the true power and depth of this McPherson lineup, an offense that's averaging 10.5 runs per game entering this game. Remarkable numbers all season long, and starting to see so today against elite pitching.
Nelson struck out his first time. Easy take. That fastball goes way out to the right-hander's batter's box, and now you wonder if Nate Breland would like that over in between innings, making the argument to the umpires as to whether or not we want to continue play. This rain is still coming down consistently, and here's a 1-0. Misses. 2-0 now to Noah Nelson.
And McKay held that there for a second, thought he was able to get it in time, and just was unable to do so, as now they have a discussion.
And things got heated there for a split second. Schwellenbach not happy without getting the call, and you can imagine frustrated with the 3 runs that the Bulldogs have been able to score in this half inning. Here comes a 2-0 to Noah Nelson. That one may have been tipped into the mitt. Yes, that is the call. And this rain is coming down even harder now. It is pouring out there. 2-1. Low and away. 3-1.
Hitters count, and that's what McPherson's done a great job of here in this 3rd inning. They've been waiting and waiting. You said this a little bit earlier in the inning. It's what the great hitters do. They have quite a lot of them, and they're just waiting for that perfect pitch in the at-bat. Hasn't had that yet, but is in a good spot to find it now.
Feels like these Bulldogs smell blood. It's another 2-out base runner, a walk to Noah Nelson. Pearson moves into scoring position, and Hunter Robinson coming to the dish.
Now a chance just to settle down. The infield comes in just to give Schellenbach a time just to reset. He's been so good in the first 2 innings and has run into quite a bit of trouble now in the 3rd. And in doing so, you just need that opportunity just to relax a little bit. That's what the infield gave him the option to do. McKay going out there as well. Now they all break through, and we'll see. Robinson batting .351 on the year. Not an easy out. No one is in either of these 2 lineups. We'll see what the approach is, if he's aggressive or a little bit patient in the at-bat. But either way, it's been working for the Bulldogs here in the top of the inning.
So Mason Schwellenbach had allowed just a single in the 1st and 2nd innings respectively. He has given up 4 hits, including a home run, and now a walk in this inning. This one gets away from McKay, and now 2 runners in scoring position as Nelson moves up to 2nd and Pearson to 3rd.
Just can't get any easier right now for Schwellenbach, but just again, good patience by the batters for the Bulldogs, and then good base running too. That's what led to one of their runs, and being able to score from 3rd on a wild pitch. That was Tyler Wood that came across the plate for their first run in that variety, and it's put them in good counts, and the good base running has put them in good positions too.
Yeah, you mentioned Pearson, 9 steals on 11 attempts. Important to get a good secondary lead and see if he can't try to score on a wild pitch. Instead, it's popped up. Coming in from left field and squeezing it is Logan McDonald, but not before Kyle Lux delivers a 2-run homer, and that was after Tyler Wood had already come home on a wild pitch. So McPherson on the board. They trail at 7-3. You're watching the Central Methodist Digital Network. Into the bottom of the 3rd. Central Methodist leads it 7-3, but McPherson has asserted their presence in this ball game after 3 in the top half of the inning. I'm Colin Surrey alongside Dominic Kosher, Tim Miller, our producer and the owner of collegecast.com, getting this whole thing up and running. And Dominic, big for the Bulldogs to pick up those 3 runs, but now for Escobar, the more difficult part of the task, I think, is still yet to be handled here. Is you need to put up that 0 after you score those runs.
And after a lot of time to rest for Escobar, this is the inning to do so. You should feel energized after seeing what your offense did in the top part of the inning and feel more confident now that they can get back into this game. But they're not going to be able to do so if you continue to give up runs on the other side of the inning.
The Eagles sent 9 to the plate in the 2nd inning, so it is once again Grant Victor leading things off. here in the third. That drops in for a strike. 1-1 the count. Out of play with that one. 1-2.
You were kind of hinting at this, Colin. This is where the trouble really occurred for the Bulldogs in the bottom of the second inning. They couldn't get through the bottom of the order, and in doing so, it gave the top of the lineup all the opportunities they needed.
Fouled straight back, catches the post, holding the screen together behind home plate. One, two, nearly ran in and caught him. Able to spin out of the way to make it 2-2.
Right there you can see him switching out the ball immediately after that pitch, and that shows again the slippery ball that he has to deal with. Escobar's had that problem in the second inning, now having it here in the third.
It's lightened up a little bit here, but it's still coming down pretty good. This one into shallow right center, and it's the center fielder taking charge, Chris Perez, for the first out. And how about that? There are 7 runs on the board for Central Methodist, and Alex Escobar has retired the leadoff hitter in each inning.
This has been a funky start for him so far. He's ran into trouble after getting that first out. You should be feeling good after being able to get the leadoff batter out. He hasn't been able to.
This is a blast into right center, looking up and watching it fly off of the roof of that shed out there. In right center, a blast from Max McKay makes it 8-3.
Right when we say it, it happens again. He gets the first out of the inning. Very next pitch, McKay comes back and hits it over the right field fence. I mean, that just shows, again, the depth of this lineup and the power of it. You have your catcher back there who's been playing up and down defense so far. Of course, that one pitch came past him. How does he put that in the rearview mirror? By hitting it over the fence on the other side of things. So just another good response by the Eagles.
And that was a home run right into a driving rain and wind. Are we going back-to-back here? Nearly. It one hops the wall. Big turnaround second, and staying put there with a one-out double is Devin Garcia. And we mentioned it the first time around, but Dominic, the bottom of this lineup is no easy task.
They're 4 for 4 now combined on the game. McKay with that single in the first and scored, the second and scored. Had that home run, and now Garcia with an extra base hit there. Just no easy outs, and you have to wonder how much more time left Escobar has in this game.
Yeah, your number 8 and 9 hitters for the Eagles are slugging 2,000 today. Get a stoppage in play here. So we've got action in the bullpen. Looks like they will make this move, I believe. Or maybe they're just now getting a guy going here.
It's more frustrating moments for the Bulldogs, though. We said it going into the inning, how important it was to put up a 0. Not going to do so again. You're in the bottom of the third. Stay in your offense. Have that big top of the inning, and just it's deflating. If you're viewing it from the Bulldogs' perspective on the other side, Central Methodist, I mean, what a response again. You should have faith in your lineup every time they come to the plate, no matter who they're going against, and no matter what the circumstances are. Pouring down rain, just gave up 3 runs, doesn't matter. The bottom of the order up 2. McKay coming through, Garcia now. Nicing it back to Cole, who's really been the only one that's had his struggles so far. He struck out twice, but their leadoff hitter for a reason. Such a talented lineup. Expect Cole to feel good even though he struck out a couple times. If everyone else is seeing the ball well, eventually he will too. As we saw with Lux, who was able to break out of his slump in a big way, Cole has the talent to do so as well.
Yeah, and I think a word that any baseball coach would love to have their team described as is relentless, and that is a word that is very apt for the Central Methodist Eagles. Showing bunt and pulling back is Deshaun Cole. He struck out his first 2 times at the plate. He is the only strikeout victim in this game for the Eagles. 1-0 to Cole. He pushes a bunt hard down the first baseline, foul.
Definitely catching everyone off guard that time on the Bulldogs infield. I mean, you've been getting lit up, and it's been hit to the outfield nearly every time. Then you have one of the speedier guys in the lineup laying down a bunt, caught them off guard, but that time it didn't work. Doubt he goes back to it, but you never know, especially with the way he's had his circle so far.
Shows bunt again, pulls back, and now the count to 2-1. And I think on the mound, even though Escobar has struck him out a couple of times, I think Alex is welcoming Deshaun Cole, showing bunt here rather than swinging away the way that these Eagles have hit the ball.
Needs an out any way he can get him.
Dropping one again, this time foul up the third base side.
Colin, are you surprised at all that the play has continued on here in the bottom of the inning? The rain continues to pour her down, and both coaches, they continue to just push on.
Well, I know we have some good weather coming up, but I think it's one of those situations where, you only have so much time here at CarShield Field as the runner takes off. No one covering as Pearson was way behind the bag at third. Devin Garcia gets a free one as the count runs full to Deshaun Cole, but in a way, I'm actually not too surprised that they're still playing in this one. Again, going back to that point of you only have a certain amount of allotted time here at CarShield, and we got to get these games in one way or another.
Now you're even seeing it here. They had to exchange bats. That one got just a little bit too wet for Cole. Couldn't hold on to it well and had to make the change. But either way, no matter what bat they have right now, you got to feel good for Central Methodist. And Garcia said he had a free one. Now 20 stolen bases on the year, the speed he's displayed.
Cole dropped the bat head on that one, yanks it deep down the line, foul and left. And, Dominic, honestly, being the guy that shows up and just is here ready for the game and to talk, I would completely welcome a 7 a.m. start or something like that the next day. Now, everyone else who has to get stuff ready for the game to be played, I don't know if they'd be down for a 7 a.m. game. But, again, eventually you just get down to a time crunch eventually, as it is a walk that has been worked by Deshaun Cole. Kenny Otero coming to the plate. He had an RBI single and came around to score himself in the second. Grounded out to third back in the first inning. And now it looks like the call will be made to the pen for McPherson, and the Bulldogs will let you know who the new pitcher is when we come back. It's an 8-3 lead for Central Methodist over McPherson on the Central Methodist Digital Network. Drake Miller going to be the new pitcher for McPherson. He is a sophomore from Rupert, Idaho. Pitches from the right side, or throws right-handed, I should say. And a big spot for him here. I mean, it feels like Central Methodist is really in control in this game right now, but if you can somehow get out of this inning, keep it at 5, come back, score some more runs in the next half inning, I mean, McPherson is far from out of this. We got plenty of game left to go. In the way that things have just kind of slowly crept along here, I think this is an opportunity where if Miller can come out here and be sharp out of the pen, McPherson can find themselves with a firm hold in this game.
And they were down by 7 after just 2 innings of play. If they were able to get going after that and provide some momentum, for their dugout to get excited about. They can do so from a 5-run deficit, but of course it starts right here. Miller, who's hasn't had the strongest year, is making his 14th appearance, but he's able to get one out here and just get out of this inning without any more trouble on the board. He should feel good about himself, and so should this Bulldogs team. But it all starts here, and of course not an easy task against this lineup that's so deep, so talented, and just getting that one more out to get out of the inning. We said that about Escobar. He needed one out in the first inning. He needed one out in the second. Wasn't able to find it before runs were played, and that was their problem. So we'll see if Miller has the same issues. But either way, now with Otero at the plate, danger on the deck as well, and Herring and company, it's not going to get any easier. But it starts right here, one batter at a time, despite it having speed on first base as well and over at third.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's working through a dangerous part in this order to boot. Otero representing the 2 spot in the order. And, of course, Logan Herring, the 3-hitter, with the RBI single in the last inning, and then he walked and scored back in the first as well. So plenty of trouble behind Otero. Sergio Macias, one batter behind that with a couple of doubles and a couple of RBIs.
Watch out for Cole to run here. He's been aggressive all year long, 16 stolen bases. In a spot like this where Miller's just coming in, might not be ready to go to the runner at first yet.
Yeah, see, if nothing else, you can't force a run down. Got a big secondary lead there. Does not go. The pitch misses and makes it 1-0 to Kenny Otero. Low and away with that fastball.
Patient start from Otero. You have to like that approach. Hasn't seen this pitcher yet. Get a couple pitches out of him first before he starts swinging and just see what he's got up his arsenal, and doing so now put himself in a good hitter's count.
The right-hander works from the third base side of the rubber, and now he checks on Deshaun Cole at first, back in head first safely. Now the 2-0. Otero sharply on the ground. It's just foul up the third base side. Devin Garcia had to jump out of the way of that one.
Maybe just a little bit early there in pulling it. Swung just a little bit later. Maybe that stays fair and plates another run. But either way, lots of good at-bats. And again, they're making good contact too, even when it goes foul.
2-1. This one lifted into right field deep, backing up high off the wall, right off the middle of the wall, and tripping there at first base. Sliding as he limps back into the bag. Kenny Otero is down. He did drive in a run to make it 9-3 with that long single off the wall in right field, and he appears to be in some pain. We'll go ahead and take a break and hopefully give you some good news about Kenny Otero when we come back on the Central Methodist Digital Network. They're out there assisting Otero. He is to his feet and walking under his own power, so that's a good thing. The right-hander wears that protective gear over his left foot, but usually that is just to protect from those foul balls off the instep. And doesn't have anything around his ankles. It looks like that was down in the area, kind of lower leg area where he was reaching and appeared to be in pain from, but they will get a pinch runner in for him. It'll be Ryan Jeffers, the sophomore from Rolette, Texas.
So difficult there for Otero. Your team's having a special game so far. You've been a part of it too, and just to go off in such a freak way. Didn't really see what happened there. You're watching the runs come across, and all of a sudden, grounding first. It wasn't off the first base bag. He was going further and just went down to the turf. It was a good sign that he's able to just get back under his own power and now be able to walk off too, and hope to see him as we go on. But definitely just a tough sight to see him have to exit after having such a strong start to the game, and it's a tough break that time for our Central Methodist team that's been really dealing on the offensive side.
Yeah, he exits right now from the base paths, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. And I think we may have a conference going on about impending weather that may be coming our way. And interestingly enough, through all of the heavy rain that we've played through, it is just sprinkling right now. So, substitution, Jeffers coming in to run for Otero after his injury, and now maybe trying to see whether or not we want to take a break here, what the deal might be. But the fact that it is an extended conversation kind of gives you the feel that they might be thinking about when and where they want to pick things back up and how they stop things right now.
So you said you're still interested in 7 a.m., right?
I mean, don't mark me down for it, Dominic, but it's on the table.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, but looks like they're breaking their conference now and calling over the coaches.
I think we're going to get a stoppage in play here. Well, umpires head back out towards their respective positions at first and third. And you wonder, too, if maybe it's a situation where it's coming in. Are we going to finish this inning and then get the pause in play?
Like you said, if it's not coming too hard right now, then why not just finish the inning and get to that point and think about that after you get to the break and possibly stop play then.
Yeah, I'm with that for sure. So again, Jeffers, the pinch runner at first for Otero after his long single off the wall in right field. First pitch in, misses low and away to Logan Herring. It's Drake Miller on the mound. The sophomore from Idaho came in to replace Alex Escobar, the starter for McPherson. Runners on the corners with 1 out, and there's another RBI single for Logan Herring. He's a perfect 2 for 2. 2 RBIs in the game now.
Also has a walk to his name, man. A run back in the first. I mean, they're already having 3 at-bats in the third inning. Just shows how many opportunities this Central Methodist team is giving each of their batters, and again, it's paying off. That time with Herring. Now you have to deal with Sergio Macias, who's been fantastic so far with a couple extra base hits, and still runners in scoring position, too, with Jeffers at second.
Eagles at it again here in the third. Macias fouls it off to the left side. The Eagles shortstop, as you mentioned, 2 doubles in this game, 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Oh-1 is a major league fly ball out into center. And it comes down 2 minutes later, finally played out there by Chris Perez. 2 down in the inning.
Has to be just a big win, just to be able to get Macias out with the way he's been hitting, not just today, all season long. And being able to retire him has to give some sort of confidence to Miller and this Bulldogs team that hasn't been able to get him out until here in the third.
You know, even the best players making out 6 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times, somewhere in that range. Here is Mason Schwellenbach. He's got 3 RBIs and a pair of singles. Tied him up. Good fastball right there from Drake Miller. Miller's got a nice frame on him. Listed at 6 foot even. Schwellenbach pops this one up on the infield. Shortstop Wood gets run into. That's interference, and it'll be the 3rd out of the 3rd inning. We head to the 4th, maybe, if we don't have a delay. If we've got it on the other end, we'll have it for you right here on the Central Methodist Digital Network. Eight, 9-1 due up for McPherson College here in the 4th. Jonah Shabry, Tyler Wood, and Chris Perez coming to the dish. And it is Mason Schwellenbach on the mound. Ran into some trouble in that 3rd inning, but his team answers right back with some more damage at the plate. 3 more runs to answer those 3 from McPherson in the 3rd. And now the Bulldogs again tasked with trying to keep up with these Eagles.
And it was Tyler Wood who was able to at least give them some sort of glimmer of hope in the 2nd inning. And after Shabry flew out, you had him come up to the plate with that double and was able to score later on in the inning. So we'll see if the bottom of the order can do it again. The middle has kind of been where they've had their issues. Maybe they get a couple guys on, have been able to drive them in besides that 2-run shot by Lux. We'll see if he comes up to the plate again, too. Of course, here for the Bulldogs, you want to see him again. That means you extended the inning. But as you face this tough pitcher, starting getting more runs. I mean, showing him back, we mentioned the most runs he's given up in recent games is just 2. This one now 3.
Foul back by Shabry there. 0-1 the count to him. You mentioned the double from Tyler Wood, so hoping that Shabry can get things started on base and then give Wood a chance to really get a rally started, but Shabry is going to have to do it working from the hole 0-2.
He's been on there for both of those pitches, just maybe a little bit off, but making contact. But now, like you said, finds himself in that hole. Last place you want to be against a player like, and a pitcher like Schwellenbach.
Popped up in foul territory, 3rd baseman over and gloving it, 1 down.
Seen some good defense so far here in the first 3 innings, and now here in the top of the 4th. No errors for either side. Both teams playing clean, and that time, again, difficult to read out there. The 3rd baseman able to go out and make that play anyway.
Grant Victor over there in foul territory. Just about 5 feet wide of that wall. Checked his swing. It doesn't matter. It's a call strike into Tyler Wood. And for Otero in right field, Adrian Martinez, the senior from Puerto Rico, taking over. Counts to 1-1 on Tyler Wood. Mason Schwellenbach with 1 out and nobody on. Great off-speed pitch on the outside edge. Wood gave up on it. It's 1-2.
Perfect description of it, just giving up on it. What else can you do against a pitch that's put as perfectly as that one by Schwellenbach?
Ahead once again, 1-2. Losing the bat. Wood couldn't connect. He's down on strikes.
I guess that perfectly shows just how beaten Wood was that time. Had no chance of touching that and just couldn't hold on to that bat either. But Schwellenbach, he's giving up those runs, but he's still compiled plenty of strikeouts, showing he's still been his usual dominant self, just with a few hiccups down the road, including that one pitch and the big one that went to Lux.
2 outs, nobody on. Lineup turns over to Chris Perez. He singled and scored back in the third inning. Flew out in the top of the first to get us started. He's ahead 1-0 here. That one catches the inside corner, 1-1.
Schwellenbach still looking for his first 1-2-3 inning. Couldn't get through the first without allowing a base runner. Same for the second. Then, of course, the big three-run third inning for the opponents.
Low with the fastball that time. Fouled straight back. And Perez now with a 2-2 count. Mason Schwellenbach has struck out 6 in the game. Trying to make it 7 with Chris Perez. Perez drops the bat on it. Right out there to the left fielder, however. McDonald takes it in for the third out. And we go to the bottom of the fourth. Central Methodist on top 10-3 on the Central Methodist Digital Network.
When a lot of people think of the NAIA, they think, oh, the talent level is less. The talent level is not as great. That is just not true. You know, there's some great athletes out here that maybe didn't have the size or the athletic ability to play at D1 or D2, but the talent level out here is tremendous. If I could give anybody advice or pitch that to anybody, I'd say give the NAIA a chance. It's a great place to play.
Welcome back into the fourth inning from Carr Shield Field in O'Fallon, Missouri. This is the NAIA National Championship opening round. McPherson trying to keep the margin at 7. Central Methodist has scored 2 in the first, 5 in the second, and 3 in the third. Looking for more damage in the fourth, as they will send Logan McDonald, Grant Victor, and Max McKay to the plate.
Have to credit the job that Miller did out of the bullpen in the third inning. He got into a little bit of trouble, but was able to get out of it, a couple of flyouts to end the third. And in doing so, put himself in a spot in his team in a spot too. They're down by 7. That's how they were in the second inning too. It's all about building on the offensive side once you get that opportunity, but also now Miller just needs to stay consistent. I mean, talk about how consistent the Central Methodist offense has been. You mentioned their numbers by each inning. They've been good every single inning and every time they come to the plate. So now it's time for you to do the same off the mound.
And they've done that without a leadoff runner in all 3 innings. Here's Logan McDonald leading it off in the fourth. He's flown out a pair of times, once to left, once to center. And this rain is coming down hard once more. 2-0 to McDonald. (3-0).
Interesting to see if he is aggressive here on 3-0. He's 0-2 in the game so far. One of the few players that hasn't had a hit yet. If he sees a pitch he likes, we'll see if he puts a swing to it.
takes. It was a good fastball, though, tailing low and inside. Might have looked enticing, though. Started kind of middle. 3-1. Wrapped into right center, tailing. Good jump out there in center field. Play made by Chris Perez.
He's been busy out there, and in the elements, not an easy job in center. One of the more difficult positions to play in these kind of conditions, but again, that time, just a really good read on it. It had to be perfect with how much power was hit on the shot out to center, but he was able to get there in time. Not the first time today either, so Perez continues his strong day. He's been strong at the plate, being patient, wearing out, or at least trying to wear out Schwellenbach, and now with his glove, again, making an impact.
Grant Victor taking strike one. And a good job by Drake Miller just to fight back from that 3-0 count. Throws a strike and then gets the 3-1 flyout. And Victor is quickly behind 0-2. So 3 straight balls to lead off the inning. Now 4 straight strikes from Miller. And he missed high and away with that purpose pitch on the 0-2. One-two sweeps outside.
After getting into an 0-2 spot, Miller was wasting no time again, ready and getting set again. He was feeling good about himself. He did it there again, even after the pitch that went outside.
Yeah, quick pace here as this one's skied into center field. Perez just a couple of steps off his mark. And he's retired the first 2 in the inning. Max McKay coming to the plate now, a perfect 2 for 2. Hit the mammoth home run his last time up. Two outs, nobody on. First pitch stays outside. Two and 0.
Maybe just being careful around a player like McKay with how well he's been hitting the ball, and of course, in the last inning, too. That's on their minds a little bit. Even though I was giving up to Escobar, now it's Miller. You saw what he did last time. Have to take a careful approach and try to hit the strike zone against him.
2-0 is a fastball outside, and I think that second pitch says everything about the respect that's being paid to Max McKay at home plate. 1-0 to the 8th place hitter. You're thinking as a pitcher, typically, fastball, I need a strike. I need to get back into this count. He goes off speed trying to get him to chase. And McKay is dialed in. He let it go, and he's got the green light. 3-0, fouls it back.
Why not with 2 outs in the inning? We've already had plenty of runs in this game, and the power he's displayed. If he sees a pitch he likes, the way he's hitting, give him that green light and give him the opportunity. Just try to beat Miller, and it's been working so far. Even though the first 2 have been retired in the inning, there's been good contact. McDonald and Victor both sitting out to center.
The senior from Carlisle, Illinois, already has had himself quite a day at the plate. And now he's got himself a hitter's count at 3-1. Next from Miller, skied into shallow right field. Second baseman backing up. And James Kinnar with the 3rd out of the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Drake Miller on the mound. And we go to the 5th. McPherson trails it 10-3. You're watching the Central Methodist Digital Network. Welcome back into the 5th now from CarShield Field in O'Fallon, Missouri, where it has been a very wet contest so far. It is pouring right now. And we're playing through it. Mason Schwellenbach back to the bump. And a 7-run lead to work with. My partner Dominic Kosher in this one. And Dominic, it's been a really impressive outing from these Eagles.
Yeah, it definitely has been. As the rains continue to fall, so has the runs for this Eagles offense. I mean, they've been good all game long, but now, first 1, 2, 3 inning of the game, I believe, for either side, has to have the Bulldogs feeling a little bit better about themselves. Miller's been impressive out of the bullpen now with the bats. You have the best part of your order up. You have Johnson coming up, the lethal catcher, and I have to really highlight the two catchers for these two teams. McKay's had himself a day, like you said already. Now you have Johnson at the plate. He's 1 for 2, but he still has the power to put a dent on the scoreboard. And you have Lux, who's already shown off that power here today. This is the right time for this McPherson team to get back in it and get back in it in a big way.
Trevor Johnson at the dish from the right side. Swings through strike one, a vicious cut, but he comes up empty.
And we just said it, he has the power to do some damage and nearly did that time, but just a little bit overpowered by Schwellenbach and put himself down now in an 0-1 hole.
Oh, 0-1 out of play. Trevor's a senior from San Diego, California. As you mentioned, 1 for 2, singled in the first, lined out to third in the third inning. Oh, 2 from Schwellenbach on the ground. Third baseman cuts it off. Nice throw by Grant Victor on the run.
Yeah, he called it off from the very beginning that time. Shortstop almost had a chance at it too, but perfect throw. Even though it was a little bit awkward there from the angle he kind of threw, it didn't go overhand, but still made the play in time. That's all that matters. And again, the good defense continues, even though you feel like most of the outs that have come in this game have gone out to the outfield for both teams. That time, Captain the infield has to keep them on edge and right at all times, and that time Victor was.
This one lined into center field. Sliding and making the play out there is Devin Garcia, just like that. 2 down and nobody on.
We mentioned the excellent defense by Perez out there in center for the Bulldogs. Now Garcia does the same on the other side. Again, the pitching has been up and down for both of these teams, but the defense behind them has been spectacular, and that time no different. It's such a difficult ball to read, but he was able to make the play regardless.
So Kyle Lux, who snapped his strikeout streak with the 2-run homer his last time up, flies out. Kennar, first pitch swinging, shoots it down the line and right. He's got at least 2, and he'll stay put at second base with that 2-out double.
Just pushed it out there, and perfect contact and good timing again for him. Even though he's had kind of a difficult game so far with 2 strikeouts. Like that pitch right there, and after maybe being patient in his first 2 at-bats, it didn't pay off and put himself in maybe some holes that he couldn't get himself out of. That time, different approach, it paid off.
And now Jake Pearson, who is 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. Kennar on second base after striking out a couple of times earlier in this game. And now the first from Schwellenbach, swung on and missed, got Pearson out in front.
Don't think Pearson was expecting that one. It was completely fooled that time, and they again go after the first pitch. That time doesn't work out.
First pitch changeup from Mason Schwellenbach. And now here he comes with an 0-1. Buries another, this time no offering from Pearson. And the count evens. foul up the third base side. Pearson upset with himself after that one.
After a couple of times through the lineup now, this lineup is starting to see Schellenbach a lot better. He's had a strikeout in every inning except this one right here, and that's because they're making good contact. Again, they're starting to read him a lot better, and in doing so, they're putting the ball in play. Even when it's foul like that one, they're inches closer to putting it in fair play, and that'll be extra bases again, just like it was for Kennard.
Schwellenbach is yet to turn to the heat in this at-bat. Let's see if he does so with the 1-2. He does, tied him up. Fly ball into center field. Couple of steps back, and Devin Garcia has the third out of the top of the fifth. We move to the bottom half of the inning. My partner, Dominic Kosher, has the call the rest of the way for you on the Central Methodist Digital Network.
It'll be Garcia, Cole, and Otero here in the bottom of the fifth inning. A 10-3 lead for Central Methodist in the NAIA opening round. Dominic Oster along with Colin Surrey right here on the Central Methodist Digital Network. And so far, Miller out of the bullpen has been strong for this Bulldogs team that really need him to be strong out of the bullpen, and he has.
Yeah, got a 1-2-3 in the fourth inning. I mean, forget about a 1-2-3 inning. These Bulldogs had not held Central Methodist off the board in any inning previous to the fourth. 2 in the first, 5 in the second, 3 in the third for the Eagles. So Miller looking to carry that momentum into the fifth here.
Also trying to carry momentum into this at-bat here is Devin Garcia, 2 for 2 on the game so far. Has scored 2 runs, singled in the second, doubled back in the third. He'll be the first one to face Miller as the rain continues to fall from right here at Carr Shield Field. Righty versus righty matchup. First pitch from Miller. Too far outside for ball one. Again, it's Cole and then Otero after the at-bat by Garcia, who made the impressive sliding play out there in the top part of the inning. On this pitch, he swings and sends his bat over into the dugout area. Everyone's fine, but it puts himself now here in 0-2, or a 1-1 count.
Look alive out there. That's the second time we've seen a player lose their bat, and I think now we will get that delay in play.
We've been waiting for that. We've been kind of talking about it too, Colin, when it gets a little bit slick to hold on to. Maybe that's a sign that it might need to bring things to an end, and it looks like it will, at least for the time being. So we're here in the bottom of the fifth inning. It was the first at-bat of the fifth, as the umpires now make their call. It's a 10-3 score with the Bulldogs trailing and the Eagles at the plate, as we'll now head into a stoppage of play.
We've got great news for you on the Central Methodist Digital Network. Baseball coming your way in about 7 minutes from now. 7:10 is going to be the first pitch, well, our second first pitch of this game that will take place in the 5th inning, the bottom of the 5th, as we've gone just about halfway through this one, so a bit of a natural, unnatural stoppage here in this one. We'll get back at it in 6 minutes from now on the Central Methodist Sports Network. Welcome back to the Central Methodist Digital Network. Colin Surrey and Dan Kinney with you now as we swap out Dominic Kosher. We still got Tim Miller, the owner of College Cast, here with us. It is the 1-1 count to Devin Garcia. New pitcher on the mound is Brett Maddock. Dan, take it away.
And Maddock comes from the belt. He'll wildly outside on that first pitch. Ball may still be a little bit damp the way that one came off of his hand.
Well, and I'm almost wondering if he had a little stickum on his hand,
right.
Almost stuck to him a little longer than he expected.
Garcia is ready for the same thing. Outside on both of them. He looked fine in the warm-ups.
Yeah.
Maddock having a little trouble getting the ball across the plate. As Garcia steps back in, umpire gets a fresh set of balls. And Maddock will deliver. This time he was able to bring it in, still outside, and that'll be a walk. Of course, he started with the count already 1-1, so that's the reason he only got 3 pitches. And that's going to bring in Deshaun Cole.
Cole walked and scored his last time at the plate, struck out his first 2 times up. The only strikeouts for Alex Escobar in his start.
And this one's wildly outside again, and that'll advance the runner Garcia to second base. That's a 1-0 count, and that'll bring out the pitching coach to say, hey, we having a problem?
Yeah, and the freshman from Oakdale, California, like you said, looked absolutely fine in his warm-ups. So you wonder if it's just kind of a mental thing. Sometimes when that batter comes into the box, it's a little bit different out there on the mound. Just to your eye, you know, the way it sets up coming home with it. So, you know, I'd make this analogy. If you're a golfer, you just have those few holes that just don't set up well to your eye, and before you even hit it, you just know you're not going to find the fairway when you step up there.
Well, everybody's readjusted. Cole steps back in. Maddock will toe the rubber. Very slight lead at second base for Garcia. Nobody really holding him. Maddock looks in. Here's the pitch. Just off the outside portion of the plate, a little bit low. That'll give us a 2-0 count.
So he's gotten a little bit better with the last 2.
Here's the next offering. It's still outside. He's coming across his body, which is one of the problems he's having. He needs to watch his mechanics a little bit.
Yeah, and it looks like he naturally, I think that just is his move. He's a little bit closed off, takes his stride towards that third base side a little bit more than the first base side. Yeah. But he's got to find it here. No choice, 3-0.
Well, he's going to call it on the outside portion of the plate, so Cole will draw the walk. And that's going to bring up Adrian Martinez. Runners at first and second. And there's a huge lead at first base.
Yeah, sure is.
Walking him back now. Maddock looks in. He'll check at second. Here's the pitch. Showed bunt, and that'll be a strike. So we've got our first strike of the bottom half of this inning.
Yeah, Noah Nelson sharing a laugh over there first with Deshaun Cole on their way back towards the bag.
Here's Maddock's next offering. That's going to be another one, but that's going to be called low. So 1-1. Squaring to bunt both times. Martinez looking to move the runners up. Gets this one down, but it's going to bounce foul. So 1-2 on the count.
Martinez coming off the bench, by the way. It was Kenny Otero initially in this spot. He hit a line drive single off the wall in field and was injured on the play.
Oh, darn.
So missing Kenny Otero right now.
Well, that was an opportune pitch to bunt, too, because it was up. This one's outside. Nice play by the catcher to keep it in play.
Well, you said it. Heck of a play right there.
Sammy Grimm able to keep that ball in front of him. That saved both runners moving into excellent scoring position. Maddock ready to bring the next pitch. And that's going to be fouled out of play. Evens the count, 2-2. Ready for the next offering. That's going to be outside. Grimm keeps it in front of him again. This is the point where you say, I love my catcher.
Yeah, and Don't get on Dan, everyone. He just got here. That is actually Trevor Johnson behind home plate. It's a 15.
Oh, okay.
Trying to see through the gear what the number is.
Okay.
We totally understand, Dan.
Here's the next pitch. Inside, and it's going to be fouled back. So another offering spoiled. Martinez trying to move these runners across the plate. So we got a full count. Here comes the next pitch. Oh, they're going to fakes the throw to second base. Everybody's back. Everybody's safe. He steps off the rubber and then gets back on. Here's the next pitch. Nope, he's going to really worried about Garcia at second base now.
Yeah, Devin Garcia already has a steal in this game.
And that's going to be outside. There's the third walk of the inning. And that's going to bring action from the coach again. I think we're going to have a new pitcher.
And indeed, we will get the call to the pen. A new right-hander coming in. We'll let you know who it is for the McPherson College Bulldogs when we come back on the Central Methodist Digital Network.
Welcome back to Car Shield Field for this NAIA baseball game brought to you by the Central Methodist University Digital Network. We've got a new pitcher getting ready to enter the game, Jake Herman, and as he's taking his practice hurls.
Yeah, so Herman comes into the game here, and, you know, I think he may have been one of the guys that we had in a dance-off prior to this game. Now, Dan, you didn't miss a lot in terms of the rain and the delayed start and all of the pregame festivities in that sense, but there was a dance-off that took place between these two squads, and I do believe Jake Herman was involved. It was quite the entertaining affair for this one. We had dueling backflips going on at one point from both sides, and you know, typically you see coaches worried about their players getting hurt. Hey, this is playoff baseball. They were all about it, letting their guys have fun.
Well, it's a dance-off. You just once it breaks out, you have to let it go.
You do. It's a thing that just happens in the moment, and you have to let it ride. The minute that anybody comes in there, starts making rules or whatever, it kills the vibe,
right?
And nobody wants that. At the end of the day, we're just trying to have fun out here, Dan.
Right. Well, Colin, it looks like the umpire is going to call for the hitter, and that's going to be Logan Herring.
Yeah, Logan Herring has done quite a bit of damage already in this game. He's 2 for 2, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs at the plate with a walk.
Wow. Well, he steps into the left side of the batter's box, and he'll face the right-hander Jake Herman. First, he's going to do a little gardening. Now he steps in. Base is loaded. First pitch from Herman, getting ready to be tossed. He steps off. And now we need a conversation there. Mix up with the signals.
So this one's never really gotten off the ground since we have come back from our delay here. We've had 3 walks.
Yep.
Still waiting for each side to really settle back in. It is dry out here, so that is the good news.
And Herman steps onto the rubber. He takes a look around the infield. He's got 3 sacks.
Dry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
3 sacks filled. He'll look in. Here's the pitch. It's inside to go to the screen. They're going to try to score the runner, and he will come in, and the other 2 advance. So Garcia will score on the pass ball. And that'll make our score 11-5. Or, I'm sorry, 11-3. And maybe a chance to settle down for Herman. Here's his next pitch. Little low, ball 2. A lot of chatter coming from the Central Methodist bench. They're trying to get their other 2 runs across. Herman looks in. Here's the pitch. Thought about it, but held back, and that'll be a 3-0 count. And by the damage, Colin, it sounds like it might not be a bad thing to put him on base. So
maybe not a terrible thing, but with nobody out
Yeah.
and Sergio Macias on deck, who already has 2 doubles in the game, maybe try to get it over the plate.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. So we've got a 3-1 count.
How about that on the 3-0? The green light is on. It's an off-speed pitch.
Yeah.
That looked to be ball 4 low in the zone.
Yeah, it was about 57 feet. Here's the next pitch from Herman. And that's inside. That's going to go to the screen. That one came back, and not enough. Cole able to score on that. So we've got runners at the corners, first and third. Nobody out.
Yeah, we've got padding behind home plate here. Quite a bit of room behind home plate, but it is a concrete. I don't know how to describe that. It's like a brick stone combination kind of wall where it will hit hard even with the padding in front.
Right.
This is Sergio Macias.
He'll look at a ball just on the outside part of the plate for ball 1. 12-3 here in the bottom half of this inning. Nobody out. Runners at first and third. Herman offers. That's going to be inside. 2-0.
Nice play by Johnson. He has really been tested in this inning, and easy to get frustrated as a catcher. He's hung with it.
Yeah. Pretty aggressive leads on both bags. Here's the pitch. That one was right down Main Street, and that'll be a strike. So 2-1. Macias right on the stripe of the inside part of the plate as he waits Herman's offering. He's going to pound it down the first base line, foul, and coach unable to come up with that one. He's getting a little ribbing from his guys in the dugout.
And he's even got some theatrics for him, too, playing along nicely.
That'll even us up, 2-2. Nobody out, first and third. Herman looks in. Here's the pitch. That'll be fouled back to the screen. Still 2-2. Mason Schwellenbach on deck. Here's Herman getting set. He looks in. Here's the pitch. It's going to be inside. Another nice stop by Johnson that saved a run. It's kind of weird when you saw that ball skid in. You could see almost a ducktail coming off of water on the ground. So these balls are probably getting wet as they skim across the ground.
Absolutely. That water sitting on that surface underneath, probably some water and some pellets coming up.
That's going to be low and another walk.
So make it 5 walks to lead off this bottom of the 5th now.
And that'll bring in Mason Schwellenbach. And I apologize. I have no idea what he's done previous to this at bat.
Well, luckily for you, Dan, I do. He's gone 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs at the plate, and he's done pretty well on the mound as well, only allowed these 3 runs through 5 innings pitched.
Wow. That's going to be outside.
7 strikeouts through 5 so far for Schwellenbach.
Nice game so far for Mr. Schwellenbach. Excellent opportunity to help himself out here, too. Bases jammed, nobody out. 1-0 count. Herman set. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball just inside, so that'll make it 2-0. Lights on here at CarShield Stadium.
And I can tell you which light's on for Schwellenbach right now. It's the green one.
Here comes Herman's set. Here's the pitch. Inside a little bit, but he takes a cut at it, and that'll get fouled right back into Johnson's mitt. 2-1.
Vicious cut at that one.
Oh, yeah.
Well located pitch, though, up and in on the hands.
Here comes the next offering from Herman. Oh, we called a balk.
Yeah.
So that'll score another run and advance the runners to second and third. Martinez comes across the plate. All right, 2-1. Nobody out. That's going to be a strike on the outside portion of the plate. Evens the count, 2-2. Schwellenbach ready. Herman sets. And here's the pitch. That's going to be off the outside part of the plate in the dirt. Johnson springs out into action to grab it. And the runners stay put. And that'll bring the coach out again.
And we're going to get a pitching change with a full count at the plate. Don't see that every day, Dan.
No, you certainly don't.
We've seen a lot of things you don't see every day in this game.
Well, I tell you, we'll take a quick break here on the Central Methodist University Digital Network while we get a pitching change. We'll see you shortly from CarShield Park.
At last, an approach to teaching and learning that connects the traditional classroom to the real world at Central Methodist University. Now you can learn the way you live and the way you'll work with the new Digital U, available only on the campus of CMU. Be more.
2 seconds.
And welcome back to CarShield Stadium. And this matchup between Central Methodist and McPherson College. And we're in the midst of a pitching change, but it looks like we may be going back to the starting pitcher. If I've read the number correctly, I think it is. That would be Alex Escobar. But it's not. It's number 12.
That is
Gregory Niger.
Yes. Senior from Scotts Valley, California. He will come out as the right-hander and immediately will be entered into a full count situation against a guy who's got 3 RBIs at the plate already today. Kind of
Not
a
an
rude
envious
welcoming.
situation.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
First base is open now. So a walk doesn't necessarily hurt you, even though a walk is not something you want to give away.
No, it won't hurt you now, but like we saw with
Yep.
Logan Herring earlier with the base open, It'll likely still hurt you down the road with nobody out. He stands at third right now. It's just nice to have the rain not coming down at a torrid pace like it was earlier in the game. Hopefully we can finish this one out. Fingers crossed. No delays the rest of the way.
And it looks like we're back underway. We're getting ready for the first pitch as Greg Niger throws in. Schwellenbach will take a swing at that one. And we've recorded our first out of this fifth inning.
Yeah, how about that? You come out and you're trying to get a feel for the new pitcher coming in. You got to be ready for that fastball.
Right.
Drops him in a full count changeup for the strikeout.
Here's the next delivery. That went right behind. I thought it hit him.
I thought it did too.
The runner will come in.
What do we know, Dan?
Oh, yeah. I was quite certain that ball hit him. Because it even changed direction a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Well, Logan McDonald says, no, it did not hit me. Throw me another pitch. So with a 1-0 count, 14-3 in favor of Central Methodist. And that's going to be low for ball 2.
Yeah, when it's 14-3 on the scoreboard, you don't want to get cheated. You want your turn in there
exactly.
at the pitch.
Here's the next pitch. They're going to call that one low, too. So that'll be 3-0 to McDonald. Macius at third base. Here's the next pitch. That's going to be a called strike on the outside portion of the plate, so 3-1. Niger working quick. Here's the next pitch. Right in the same spot, 3-2. Full count. Working quickly. Here's the next pitch. That's going to be low for ball 4. That'll be the 6th walk of this inning.
First time McDonald has reached base. He had previously flown out all 3 times. And now Grant Victor, who is also looking to reach base for the first time today.
Victor stands ready. Both the runners off the bags. Here's his first pitch. It's hit well into left field, and it's going to be snagged. The runner tags, and he will cross the plate. Macius scores on that one. That'll make it 15-3. Good, solid contact, just right at the left fielder.
Yeah, it sure was. It was a good play out there and left by Jonah Shabry as well. That is a difficult play to make, to try to judge it coming at you on a line like that, and he did well with it.
Max McKay steps in.
McKay belted one off of that shed out in right center, Dan. I wish you could have seen it. It was majestic.
Big lead at first base. Here's the offering. It's going to be outside. McDonald hustles back. He's got a commanding lead over at first base. I'd toss one over there just to say, hey, I see you.
Yeah, he is getting a big lead.
Just a little off the plate, so that'll be 2-0. 2 outs in this bottom half of the 5th inning. 15-3 in favor of Central Methodist. Runner on first base. 2-0 count. Here's the next offering from Niger. Just off the outside portion of the plate, 3-0. And you'd have to think McKay's got the green light here. If it was, it evidently was very dim because that was a strike right down the central.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was thinking maybe McKay would go into home run derby mode with already a impressive shot.
Here's the next offering from Niger. They're going to call that a strike. So we've got 3-2, full count, 2 outs. Let's see if he can get himself out of trouble. Runner will be off with the pitch. That's going to be fouled back and spoiled. We'll do it again. Donald actually took off before he was even halfway through.
Yeah, he sure did. He was about 20 feet from second base.
And they're going to call that outside. There's another walk. And the person that started this off, Devin Garcia, walks into the plate. So we've gone all the way around. We've got a pinch runner coming in. Gannon Ruckman will be running for the catcher, McKay. Niger looks in. Huge lead at first base. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 1.
Dan, the 8 and 9 hitters for Central Methodist are now 4 for 5 and slugging just under 2,000 in this game.
That's going to be on the outside portion of the plate. 2-0.
Garcia 2 for 2 himself with a walk that came to lead off this inning.
Here's the next. That's inside. 3-0. McPherson just struggling on the mound. They've yet to have a pitcher come in and really take control. That ball's hit high and out of play. Down the third baseline. 3-1. Garcia definitely saw the green light that time.
No hits in this inning for the Eagles and 5 runs in.
Yeah, that's what a walk will do for you.
Or 7.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the next offering as he comes set. And that's going to be popped up. That's in no man's land in between the center fielder and the right fielder, but the center fielder will corral that one, and we're out of the inning. So at the end of the bottom of the 5th, no hits, 5 runs, and no errors. So
just your typical 0-5-0 frame right there in the bottom of the 5th.
Don't see that often.
Go ahead and send it to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the 6th for you on the Central Methodist Digital Network.
Back to Carshield, where we are covering the game between Central Methodist University and McPherson College. Got a new pitcher in the game for Central Methodist. It's
got Tyler Vickers out there.
And he's bringing some heat in. Yeah, looks like the first inkling of looks like some sprinkles are starting to come down again.
Yeah, it's coming in. I'm not sure, Dan, I said incorrectly earlier that the rain had stopped. It's been drizzling kind of this entire time since we've come back. But, a drizzle feels like no rain at all right now with what we've had. But Vickers on the mound, a sophomore right-hander from North Carolina. And
Noah Nelson stepping in to face him.
There, you got it, Dan.
And we'll see what happens here. First offering's just outside, a little bit up on the fastball.
Nelson has struck out and walked in this contest.
Batting from the left side of the plate, he'll face Vickers here as he comes set. Here's the offering. He's going to hit that ball solidly, and it's a foul ball. That, at least from my angle, looked like it was a fair ball, but the umpire had a better look than I did.
Yeah, I think it was a foot to the right of that right field line there.
I've got that pole right.
Yeah.
So that'll even the count, 1-1. As Vickers gets ready to offer his next pitch. Here it comes. That's going to be on the inside portion of the plate, 2-1. Hunter Robinson on deck. Here's Vickers' next pitch. Low for ball 3. Outfielder straight away, infield at regular depth. And that'll be a swing and a miss. Full count.
Appeared to be ball 4 there.
Yeah, it
Induced
was off the plate.
Yeah, induced that swing from Nelson.
And here's the next offering. That'll be hit weakly down third base. Third baseman comes up with it. Nice play. And the put out, 5-3.
Grant Vickers made a couple of really nice-looking plays, charging in over there at third base, and that's one of the most difficult plays to make as a third baseman. You're throwing on the run and having to throw it across your body. It's just tough to be accurate with that throw. It's a little more natural than throwing back the other way across your body, kind of taking it with yourself, but either way, a good play there.
Here's the next pitch. That's low for a ball to Hunter Robinson. Herring did a nice job of fishing that out of the dirt, too.
Yeah, he did.
Here's the next offering for Vickers, and that's going to be hit right to third again. And a 4-bounce play to Herring, and he's put out.
Welcome to the all-turf Car Shield Field, ladies and gentlemen.
Interesting.
And welcome to the show over at third base from Grant Victor.
Yeah.
Here in the 6th.
Jonah Shabry comes in. Vickers ready to offer the pitch. That's hit sharply, but it might. Yeah, it did, and made it over the left fielder's head. He's trotting down to second base. And that'll be a stand-up double. Shabry with a well-hit ball to left field. At first, it looked like it was going right at the left fielder, and then he turned around and took off. So, good 2-out double.
Yeah, he squared it up nicely, got underneath it, and I think that backspin allowed it to carry a little bit more out there than Logan McDonald initially thought it might, and it just got over his glove out there and left.
And that'll bring in Tyler Wood, shortstop. With an opportunity to bring in a run. Vickers comes set, eyes the runner. He'll step off. And Vickers ready to start it all over again. Woods is set. Here's the pitch. Inside, it went off the catcher, and that's going to advance the runner to third. Shabry will be standing at third base. 1-0 count, 2 outs. Tyler Wood with a chance to put one across.
Wood scored the first run of this game for McPherson in the 3rd inning. He led the inning off with a double and scored on a wild pitch.
Ball low.
Good stop there by McKay I think that fastball that ends up in the dirt or in the turf, if you will, out
Right.
here at Carshield is the most difficult for a catcher to deal with. You're anticipating that breaking ball to end up in the dirt, but it's more difficult to stop that fastball.
Definitely. Here's the next pitch. Swung and a miss. That'll even the count, 2-2. Actually, it'll make it 2-1. Vicker rubbing the ball down. A little moisture on it. Wood ready. Here's the pitch. That'll be grounded weakly over to the first base dugout. Now it's even 2-2.
Sean Cole plays deep in the hole at second base, shallow into right field, and Sergio Macias a few steps over towards the bag at second from his shortstop position.
Here's the next offering from Vickers. Up and out. And a full count. Battle of the Tylers here. That's going to be hit kind of in no man's land in left field, and that's going to get over McDonald's head, and that's another double, and that'll score a run.
So that's a couple of times now where McDonald's kind of gotten caught taking his first step a little bit coming in when he initially needed to be going back, and I think the change in the weather might be a big part of that. We had more of a breeze coming in from the outfield earlier in this game, and of course when the rain's coming down heavy, that's helping knock the ball down as well, instead of allowing it to carry like we've seen these last couple of shots out there into left.
Well, the change of level, too, because you've got that one little layer of light in the clouds, too. If you lose the ball for a second, you're going to have a hard time catching it again.
Yeah, that's a great point. It is that time of the evening, just before dusk.
This is going to bring in Chris Perez with a runner at second base, 2 outs. 15-4. Tyler Wood at second base after hitting a double. Swing and a miss on a pretty good breaking pitch. Tyler Vickers showing the first breaking ball. He's thrown every pitch before that had been a fastball. Now he likes it. He's thrown 2 of them now. 0-2.
Yeah, and that second one really had some nice action on it.
Took a little bit off of it as well. So Chris Perez finds himself in a hole, 0-2. And Vickers trying to get away with as minimal damage as he can. Here's the pitch. That's going to be fouled out of play over the first base dugout. Out of Carshield Field. Everybody returns to where they were before, and we'll try it again. 0-2, 15-4, runner at second, top of the 6th inning. Tyler Vickers ready to bring his next pitch in. Oh, just high. Looked like a pretty good pitch.
I think that one surprised everybody.
I think that surprised Chris Perez, too, because he almost started trotting towards the bench.
That's what I'm saying.
So we'll try that again. 1-2. 2 outs here in this top half of the 6th. Hit sharply, but foul. Jumped way out in front of that fastball.
Yeah, good location on the mound, though, by Vickers, burying it low and inside. If you square that pitch up like Perez did, it's nearly impossible to keep it fair.
And ready for the next offering is Tyler Vickers. And he'll step off the mound. He'll come back and set. Trevor Johnson on deck. Here's the next pitch. And it'll be the third baseman show. Nice job by Herring to scoop that one out, and that will be the end of the top half of this inning. 2 hits, 1 run, no errors, and that's going to do it for the top half of this 6th inning. You're listening to the Central Methodist University Digital Network. We'll step away for a quick second, and we'll be right back with more action. Welcome back to Car Shield Stadium for this matchup between Central Methodist and McPherson College. As we head into the bottom half of this 6th inning, I believe we'll have Deshaun Cole batting first, if memory serves.
You got it. It's pretty good memory without a scorebook in front of you, and not exactly the quickest of innings that we've gone through since we've come back since the delay.
Got a score of 15-4 in favor of Central Methodist University. The Eagles doing a pretty good job of letting the pitchers help them out as Niger will make his 2nd inning of work. Swing and a miss. Greg Niger, first pitch strike. This one's going to be launched out to left field. This might have enough. That is a home run. Deshaun Cole puts it over into the left field bleachers.
So Deshaun got started off slowly in this one, struck out his first 2 times. Drew a couple of walks, scored a couple of runs his last 2 times, and now he joins the party getting involved offensively. Max McKay and Deshaun Cole now with home runs in the game.
Adrian Martinez steps in. That ball's inside. Be ball 1. Here's the next offering. High, ball 2. And here's your next pitch. Hammered foul right past the third base dugout. One of the fans over there had to duck. It almost ripped his head off.
Yeah, look out. These Eagles, when they're at the plate, are liable to do just about anything.
This one's going to be really, unfortunately, the third baseman not able to scoop that one up.
Yeah, I'm not sure Pearson is able to make a play at that either way. We're going to get an infield single ruling coming here, and I completely agree with that.
And Jake Pearson came a long way over to pick that up. It wasn't hit real sharply, so he probably should have barehanded that, but you just never know. That brings in Logan Herring, first baseman. Nobody out. Home run by Deshaun Cole and infield hit to Adrian Martinez. And this one's going to get away from Johnson, and that'll advance Martinez to second base.
So the Eagles now, as a team, have walked 9 times in this game to go along with 14 hits.
Goodness.
6 of those 14 hits have gone for extra bases, 2 of them home runs, 4 doubles.
Here's Niger's offering, and that'll be a strike on the outside corner of the plate to even the count, 1-1. Logan Herring steps back in, wanting to do his part for the Eagles. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. It looks like he was wanting to put one over the car shield sign in right field. That was a big swing. Set up on the outside portion of the plate, and it went a little too far outside, so that'll make the count 2-2. That's going to be fouled back into the screen. And we'll do that one all over again. And here's the next pitch. It's going to be off the outside portion of the plate, and that'll be a full count. Here's the next pitch. That'll be a walk. Herring's on. Martinez at second. And that's going to bring in Logan McDonald. Nope, I'm sorry. That's going to bring in Sergio Macias. The shortstop. Macias the last time walked and scored. He'll look at the first pitch, up and out.
And Dan, we're at a point in the game, down by 12. McPherson already has a win in this tournament.
That ball's hit sharply to first. He'll flip it over to Niger. Niger will make the put out. That advances both the runners. Martinez at third. And Herring at second. And you were saying, Colin?
So McPherson has that victory already in this tournament. It's double elimination, and you're down 16-4 in the 6th inning. It's not looking good here. You're at a point where you've already played yesterday. You're trying to preserve your arms and think about moving forward to this next one. Not necessarily give this one away, but really have your sights set forward, because you don't have a lot of bullets left in the tank when you have to play your way into this position when you're not the top seed.
This one's going to be popped up into foul territory. Both Johnson and, out of play. Got a wall in front of me here. I couldn't quite see. I didn't know if it was right at that screen or not. But then I heard the metal, and it went
Dan,
out.
you missed an outstanding play by the fan.
As Johnson gets his helmet back on, we'll resume play. A 1-1 count. That ball's inside. Schwellenbach looks at a 2-1 count. Niger's still working his way, trying to get out of this inning. 1 out. Macias hit into a ground out. Inside again. And if I may say, way inside.
Yeah, you had to back out of the way of that one.
3-1. Not a lot on the pitch, but still. All 3 of those were inside, and that'll be another walk. That brings in Logan McDonald.
So, I mentioned now in the game up to 11 walks issued out by the Bulldogs. 9 of those have come in the last 2 innings, so not too bad to this point. And, understandably, you get that huge pause in the action. Tough to just pick it up and be able to find your stride again against a daunting offensive team like this Eagles lineup.
That one's hammered foul down the third base line. First pitch was inside. He'd thrown 5 pitches in a row in about the same spot on the inside portion of the plate. And now McDonald found one he liked and took a ride on it. That one's outside. 2-1. Here comes the next offering from Niagara. That's going to be lifted into left field. Chabry's underneath it. The runner will tag, and they let it go, but Johnson, I'm not sure, is the one that said to let it go. He was caught off guard, but it was good enough to hold the 2 runners.
Yeah, I think Trevor knew that wasn't going to get anybody at the plate either way, but the runner at second base was playing it conservatively and rightfully so for Logan Herring. He stays put there. Now 17-4 after the sac fly. Almost turned it into a football game. We're playing baseball here, Dan.
Grant Victor walks in. He'll take his rips against Niagara. Inside. Schwellenbach over at first. Herring at second. Here's the next offering. Inside again. Grant Victor not getting a chance to swing the bat because the ball is staying off the plate.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Niger is wearing out that arm side of the plate inside to right-handers.
And he went to the outside portion and just missed, so 3-0.
Tell you what, that looked pretty good from here, but I think the fact that he has been working that inner half so much, he's not getting the call out there now.
That one is absolutely hammered, but it's going to be foul. Oop, he's going to have to buy a window over there in the neighborhood because...
Yeah, he almost took out the backboard of that basketball hoop out on the patio out there. Luckily, we don't have any kiddos playing, otherwise they'd be in danger.
3-1 as Niger makes his next. And that one's going to go the other way, sending the right fielder back, but he corrals it, and that'll be our third out of this bottom of the 6th. So we'll go into the 7th. 17-4 in favor of the Eagles. You're listening to the Central Methodist University Digital Network powered by College Cast. We'll be back in just a moment with more action from CarShield Field.
Welcome back in the 7th inning. Colin Surrey alongside Dan Kinney. Our producer is Tim Miller. He dropped his chips, and Dan Kinney's having some in his honor. Good old broadcast feud going on.
It looks like we got a new pitcher. It might be Isaiah Davis, if I'm reading the numbers correctly.
I believe so. And interesting, we have seen Isaiah Davis, the 6'1 senior from Indianapolis, come into pinch run in this game already.
Oh, really?
Yeah. On a couple of occasions, actually, I believe.
And that was about 6 hours ago when this game started?
It was a while ago. I'm trying to jog my memory who he ran for, and I've got nothing, Dan. Got nothing.
Well, that's going to bring Trevor Johnson, the catcher, in. He'll face Davis to start this top half of the 7th.
Dan, we've got some people with a better memory than I do at the end of the table over here. They say he was running for Mason Schwellenbach.
Okay.
The pitcher who started this one for the Eagles.
Here's Davis's first offering. It's going to be fouled right back, almost in between the two of us.
Yeah, we were getting ready to stick a hand up for it. Tim says he would have had it. I beg to differ.
Yeah, I've heard some big fish stories. That was the biggest one of all. And Davis ready to bring his next offering in. Johnson lets that one go. Oh, and they're going to call it a strike. So 0-2.
Yeah, that was a filthy-looking pitch. Seemed to be a slider right there. And like you said, ended up, didn't look like a strike, but where it crossed, I think that was a strike.
Davis will bring his next offering in. Same slider, but brought that one inside that time.
Yeah, interesting. That one almost backed up on him a little bit. Didn't have that same snap in right-to-left movement that the pitch prior did.
1-2. Davis comes again. Straight overhand fastball that on the ground. He gave himself up, so that'll be an out. So that's one pitcher, one strikeout for Davis. And that'll bring in Kyle Lux.
Lux had struck out in his first 6 plate appearances here at CarShield Field in these 2 games, and then he broke out in a big way with a 2-run homer.
Oh, wow.
Back in the 3rd.
And that one's going to be sharply hit into center field for a base hit.
I think Kyle's sick of me talking about his strikeouts.
I'll show him.
Yeah, he's saying, all right, Mr. Broadcaster, why don't you tell me about my strikeouts to my face after the game?
That's
and see what you got to say.
That'll bring in James Canar. And he's got an opportunity with 1 out, a runner at first, to add some more tallies on the McPherson scoreboard. Davis comes set. Here's the offering. That's going to bounce, and that's going to move the runner up to second base. And the same sure-handed guy that said he'd catch the foul ball almost ducked when the ball hit the screen, so my confidence waning.
I don't know if I blame Tim on that one. I mean, McKay jumped out of his seat trying to catch it with his shoulder, and he still couldn't get high enough for it.
Davis ready to give another pitch to Canar. Runner at second. It's going to be just off the inside portion of the plate, so that'll be 2-0.
Canar doubled in the 5th, struck out his first 2 times at the plate.
Lux with a small lead at second base, not really anybody holding him on. Up for ball 3. Canar probably has the green light here with 1 out. Lux with a little more aggressive lead. Just misses. Nice placement of that pitch, but it's going to be ball 4. Canar will draw the walk. That'll bring in Jake Pearson.
And Pearson is 2 for 3, so we do have 1 down in the inning, but maybe an opportunity here for McPherson to try to make things interesting in the 7th.
Davis comes set. Here's his pitch. Went with a curveball, but held it a little too long. Be high for ball 1. Noah Nelson on deck for the Bulldogs. There's a nice pitch on the inside portion of the plate. Evens the count, 1-1.
No one warming in the pen right now for the Eagles. However, I did see a guy stretching out, doing some arm motions trying to get loose in the dugout just a second ago.
This one's going to be fouled out of play.
And, this is about the time of the game where a lot of bullpen guys might just randomly be doing that anyway.
Yep. 1-2. Got runners at first and second. Here's the next offering. Off the fist for a base hit. And that'll move the runners up to second and third. So, nice piece of hitting by Pearson just to fight that one into right field. Bring up Noah Nelson.
Prime example of hit them where they aren't. Right there, first baseman playing in, Logan Herring. And he couldn't get that as it was served right behind him. Bases juiced.
Well, and Martinez was basically had his back against the wall, so he was no help from right field.
Yep. And they're playing no doubles out there, especially in right field, very deep for the left-handed hitting Nelson.
That's going to be off the outside portion of the plate for the left-handed hitting Nelson.
And this is that same Noah Nelson that I was telling folks at the beginning of this broadcast belted one over that car shield sign out in right field in the first game that they played in this tournament.
Here's the next offering. He's going to be low and out, 2-0. Just one out here in this top portion of the seventh inning. No room left at the end. All three bases filled. Nelson steps in. Here's the pitch from Davis. Called strike on the outside portion of the plate. 2-1. Nelson really squeezing the plate, too. He's way on top of the plate from the left side.
He sure is.
Here's the next offering. It's going to be fouled back and out of play. 2-2.
A lot of times, Dan, you'll see a guy with their back foot right up against the edge of the box and then have a little bit of an open stance when they're right on top of the box. This is a very squared up, almost even closed off stance from Nelson, so it makes
like
it appear as the pitcher that there's just no room over that inside corner.
Here's his next pitch. Wanted to go with that slider, but it slipped off his hand. More of a spinner than anything. So we've got a full count, no place for him to go, so we'll see what happens. And that'll be spoiled, and we'll do it again, 3-2. Hunter Robinson anxiously awaiting his opportunity to step up to the plate. On deck. Here's the next offering from Davis. And it's hit sharply into right field. That'll score at least one. And the runner will hold at third. So a base hit for Nelson will bring in a run. Nice piece of hitting. Ran that count full, fouled a couple off, made the pitcher work, and then paid for it.
Yeah, he squared that one up nicely in a different scenario where the right fielder isn't really deep and no doubles. That might be one where you hit it too good right at the right fielder.
Yep.
But a good piece of hitting from Nelson, like you said, and here comes McPherson.
And Robinson will foul that one over the first base dugout. Out of play. Bag still juiced. One out, 17-5 in favor of the Eagles of Central Methodist. Oh, swing and a miss. Now the ball got away from McKay, but the runner was already on his way back.
Yeah, McKay kept it just close enough, and that's one of those where unless you've got a big secondary lead and you make your mind up right away, better to head back to the bag,
Yeah.
especially right now for McPherson. Those base runners are so valuable
Oh,
now. You run into a route and run into an out, and it just really hurts in a
Yeah.
situation like this.
Here's Davis's pitch in the dirt. So we've got 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bases are gassed. Davis will bring his next offering in. Here's the pitch. That's going to be low, 2-2. Zay Davis ready for his next offering. Here's the pitch. It's going to be hit right in that in-between land. They're able to get him at first base, but it will push the run across. That was a really nice play by Grant Victor to get him at first.
The same Grant Victor that assisted on all 3 outs in the 6th inning.
That's going to bring in Jonah Shabry. Runners at second and third. There's 2 outs. And we've got a 17-6 ball game. Fouled straight back. Kind of a wake-up call for Tyler Wood since it almost went right off the brim of his cap. And that'll be 0-1, 2 outs. Second and third, Davis gets ready to bring. Here's the pitch. He offered, and they're going to say yes, he did go. So it's 0-2. Davis with a chance to shut the door here. Big right-hander comes to the belt. And here's the offering. And that's going to be hit right back up the middle for a base hit. They may try to score. Nope, they're just going to go with 1. That was a nice throw in from center field. Devin Garcia.
Yeah.
But it did squeeze across Jake Pearson, so we've got a 17-7 ball game as Tyler Wood steps in. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. And the left-handed hitting Wood is ready for the next pitch from Davis. Davis comes set. Here's the pitch. Called strike on the outside portion of the plate.
Tyler Wood's got a couple of doubles, an RBI, and a run scored in this game. 2 for 3.
Here's the next pitch. Did he go? They're going to say yes. 0-2. So again, Davis with the chance to shut the door and get out of this inning with minimal damage. 0-2. Breaking pitch gets away from him. 1-2. Chris Perez on deck. Shabry at first. A pretty good lead. Here's the pitch. They're going to call that a foul ball off his foot. So still 1-2. Noah Nelson at third. Outfielders pretty much straight away and fairly deep. Infield at somewhat normal depth with Deshaun Cole playing a short right field. Here's the pitch. Really nice breaking ball that fell in for the strike. able to plate 3 runs off 4 hits, and there were no errors in that inning as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Well,
We move to the bottom half of the 7th. We got a 5th inning stretch and now a 7th inning stretch in this game, an extended 5th inning stretch. My partner Dan Kinney joins us now here in the bottom half of the inning.
and Isaiah Vasquez comes in to pitch. Is that the 7th pitcher?
I have him as number 6, but this is 4 since we started back up in the 5th.
Vasquez, a 5'10" senior from Montebello, California. Right-hander. And we should have McKay coming up to bat.
Yep, Max McKay, 2 for 3 in this game. He scored 2 runs, driven 1 in. It was himself on a solo homer. And also popped out to second base to go along with a walk in the 5th.
Well, right-handed pitcher facing the left-handed hitter, McKay. Vasquez's first pitch coming in this 7th inning. And that's hit sharply into center field. A little bit of an overrun, but he makes the correction, and we've got 1 out. That'll bring in Garcia.
We got to see Devin's cannon for an arm in the top of the 7th. Proved that it was a good decision to stay put at 3rd for the Bulldogs.
Oh, yeah. Here's the next offering from Vasquez. Nice breaking ball. Garcia way out in front of that one. And he comes set. Here's his next pitch. Strike 2. Way out in front now. And the next offering. Hit sharply to short. Up with it. Nice throw over, and that's a good put out. Very nice play by Tyler Wood. Just a everyday play. Scooped it up and tossed it over to Nelson. That'll bring in Deshaun Cole, who hit one into the left field bleachers his last time up. Vasquez gets ready. Here's the pitch. Oh, that one got away from him. He was trying to throw another one of those breaking balls, but it just didn't break.
Yeah, it came right in on him. Somehow avoided that pitch.
Yeah. Beautiful breaking ball. Almost like he set it up with the first one.
If that's a call strike, if you can execute that every time, I mean, what do you do at the plate? Try to drop a bunt on it, maybe? I don't know.
1-1. Here comes Vasquez's next pitch. Took that breaking ball to the outside part of the plate, but wasn't able to get it across. 2-1.
You almost got to go like softball style, get the running start on it and try to catch it at the top of the box
Yep.
before it comes way in on you.
Here comes the next offering from Vasquez. Fouled back and out of play. 2-2. Vasquez likes to dangle his arm before he throws. Here comes the next one on the outside portion of the plate. That'll fill it up, full count. And here's the delivery. That's going to be hit into the hole at third base. Nice long throw. And they got him. Very, very nice play. Jake Pearson deep in the hole behind third base makes a nice throw over to Nelson at first, who stretches for it, and they get out of the inning. No hits, no runs, no errors. Davis prepares for this top half of the eighth inning as he's throwing his warm-up tosses. We'll have Chris Perez facing him. And McKay brings the ball down to second, and that'll bring us to our first hitter of this eighth inning, Chris Perez.
Our producer, Tim Miller, would have fit right in with the pregame dance-off right about now, jamming out to some Beatles here in between innings. Well, a cover of the Beatles, at least.
And Davis, after a few struggles to begin that, settled down and was able to retire and get out of that last inning. So he'll start fresh here at the top of the eighth. His first pitch to Perez is a strike. Nice breaking ball on the outside portion of the plate. This one's going to be hit sharply down the first base line and out of play. Didn't quite get around on that one.
Yeah, good location on that pitch from Davis. Jammed him on the inside part of the plate after starting him with the soft stuff outside.
Here's the 0-2 offering. Big roundhouse curve, but a little high. One and two. Davis comes to the plate. That's going to be spoiled, not a play. Still 1 and 2. Here's Davis's next pitch. Just low. Nice location on that. Just didn't quite a hair under the knee.
Yeah.
Because he put that right on the outside corner.
Yeah, great location. A good job by Perez to lay off of that pitch with 2 strikes.
2-2 as Davis comes set. And fouled that one back to the screen.
Yeah, I can't tell you how good that was by Perez to get a piece of that one. This slider, I think it is that Davis is throwing, he comes over the top. Typically you see guys that throw sliders that are a little bit more three-quarters, and it's more of that sweeping action. This is sharp downward movement on this slider from Isaiah.
That one's hit well down the third base line and foul off the wall, or fair off the wall. Good throw in. It's made it a much closer play than it should have been. And Perez with a leadoff double. And that'll bring in Tyler Carrasco. Carrasco facing Davis. This will be his first at bat of the game. Coming off the bench. Here's the pitch. That's skied up. Looks like Herring's underneath it. He'll make the play. And that'll bring up Kyle Lux. One out, runner at second. 17-7 in favor of the Eagles of Central Methodist in this top portion of the eighth inning. Davis's pitch fouled off the mask of the catcher. Okay, he seems to be okay.
Reminds me of Mike Tyson after taking a shot in the first round, shaking his head. Didn't hurt me.
Perez with a pretty decent lead at second. And breaking ball just high. Evens the count 1-1. Davis becoming more and more reliant on that breaking pitch. Here we go. He comes set. And up again. 2-1.
Yeah, so I've talked about that downward action on that breaking ball. If he's missing it up, that is a sign that he has lost his mechanics a little bit out there.
Yeah.
If anything, you want your miss with that pitch to be low in the zone.
Yeah. Here's the next pitch. Fastball on the inside portion of the plate, but just in. 3-1.
And he also hung that breaking ball on that 2-2 pitch to Chris Perez, who turned on it nicely down the line.
Yeah. Canar on deck. Here's the next pitch. That one's going to be hit way up in the air into center field. Garcia seems to be circling under it. He's got it. The runner takes off for third, and he'll stand there after a warning track. Power on the fly ball to center field.
That's what they mean when they tell you this is a game of inches or a game of centimeters. I mean, just underneath that pitch. Squared it up right on the meat of the bat, and it was that close to leaving the park.
Just a little bit of wind on the flag out there in center field, so he didn't have any help. Canar steps in. He faces, swings. They didn't call a foul ball, so that'll actually be the runner comes across. Perez will score. So we now have a 17-8 ball game. Davis set. Here's the pitch. This one's going to be hit to shallow center. Garcia coming in. And he makes the play. So we get one run, one hit, and one error. And that'll take us to the bottom half of the eighth.
welcome back. We are now into the bottom of the 8th inning. Central Methodist trying to add on a little extra insurance that might not be needed, but these Eagles are going to do what they do, go out there and score runs. They've already put 17 up on the board. They were held scoreless for just the second time in this game in the 7th inning. The 4th inning, the only other occasion, both of those 1, 2, 3 innings. 2 in the 1st, 5 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, 5 in the 5th, and 1 more in the 6th for the Eagles at the plate. And for the Bulldogs, they scored 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, and 1 in the 8th. That's how we get to 17-8. Here is Dan Kinney.
Vasquez did a good job of coming in and pitching, showing that he had a nice control and a very good command of his breaking pitch. It kept the Eagles off balance. And we'll see what he does here as he comes set in this top portion, or the bottom half of this 8th inning. Here's the first one. And he starts off with that breaking ball, but misses outside. And Martinez will look at that one outside, 2-0. Broadcaster Jinx, I told him that he had a good command of his pitches the last time. Now he can't find the plate. Here's his next pitch. Oh, swing and a miss by Martinez. Again, that breaking ball he's throwing, it's not a big breaker, but it's enough to where it throws your timing off.
Yeah, nasty bearing in on the hitter that time underneath the hands.
Fastball will be hit right in between short and third for a base hit. Corralled by the left fielder, brought in, and he'll be held at first. So gives up his first hit, does Vasquez. And that'll bring in Logan Herring, the first baseman. That was a good piece of hitting. He waited on that one, let it get deep on his hands, and just went with it.
He did, and, you know, I think that's a great point, what you mentioned, the way he let it come in deep, yet he still pulled the baseball.
Yeah.
The way he kept his hands inside on that swing, just beautifully done. And, Dan, I think maybe one of my, I won't say it's my favorite, but one of my favorite physics experiments going through school was they had the teacher brought a student up in a chair in front of the class and spun them around in a swiveling chair and put some weights in their arms. And when you bring the weights in, you spin much quicker. Same thing with your swing. You get those hands inside, your swing speed increases, and you can let that ball come in deep and still yank it and pull it with a lot of velocity like you just saw in that last one.
Here comes the next pitch from Vasquez. And that's going to be ripped up the middle. Turned Martinez around a little bit, but that was going to be a hit all the way. So Herring moves Martinez over to third base. So we got runners at the corner. And Macias comes up with nobody out. Left-handed hitter. Martinez pretty well down the line on third. Oh, very nice breaking ball, drops in for a strike. Macias was not ready for that. He was looking dead red the whole way.
Sure was. That's the way to start a really good hitter first pitch.
Here's the next offering. That's going to be pulled foul. I think if Nelson just waits and lets that ball come to him instead of going, that might have been a fair ball.
Yeah.
So quickly 0-2 to Macias. Awfully good pitch, just misses inside 1-2. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I don't think Herring is a threat to run.
Well, he's not right now with that lead.
That's a swing and caught by the catcher, so it's a strikeout to Macias. So there's the first out of this bottom portion of the 8th inning. And Schwellenbach steps in. Vasquez gets his sign. Here's the pitch. Upstairs with a fastball. Martinez. I was going to say, dancing a little more off third base than normal. Vasquez stepped off and said, hey, let's have a look at this.
Yeah.
Here's the pitch, way outside that time.
And, kind of inconsequential over there at third base what your lead is necessarily. A secondary lead can help you score on a wild pitch maybe, but just some eye candy there for Vasquez.
I think that's what Martinez is doing. That one slapped right back up the middle and should double him off, and they do. So line drive by Schwellenbach right into the second baseman's hand and doubles off Herring at first. So one hit, no runs, and no errors. And we'll go to the top of the 9th.
How do you make traditional education more effective for today's job market? You transform it at Central Methodist University. Now the only limit to your education is your imagination. The new Digital U, available only on the campus of CMU. Be more.
And Davis will go out to finish here in the top portion of the 9th. He's taking a 17-8 lead as he tosses his last few warm-up pitches. He'll be facing Jake Pearson to start. And what's turned out to be a fairly nice evening.
Yeah, certainly. And want to remind you that we will have more baseball coming your way at the conclusion of this one, about 35-40 minutes from the end of this one. And make sure that you check out the replay of this game as well. Go to prepcast.com and scroll down to the College Cast channel, and these games will appear in the recent line there on the College Cast channel on prepcast.com.
And here comes Davis's first pitch. Breaking ball in for a strike. Pearson steps back in as he's ready to see the next offering from Davis. Fastball, and they're going to call it a foul ball. I think it came off the plate after it hit at the top of his foot, because he raised his foot pretty quick.
Yeah, I think so too. You can usually tell on those pretty quickly by the player's body language.
Yeah.
And by the way, that game following this one, 35 to 40 minutes after the end of this broadcast, it will be Benedictine Mesa taking on Doane.
Here's the next pitch. Breaking ball, that'll be strike 3.
Yeah, he knew it.
And that'll bring in Noah Nelson. First baseman, Noah Nelson.
And this is why Tim Miller is our producer. He points out very keenly that it is our first elimination game coming up in the next one between Benedictine Mesa and Doane.
Swing and a miss. Nelson trying to put that one into Ozzie Smith Sports Complex, which is down the road from this field. Here's Davis's next pitch, just off the plate, 1-1. Here's the pitch. Called strike on the outside corner. 1-2, 1 out. Hunter Robinson on deck for the Bulldogs. Spoils that curveball, putting it over our heads here in the press box. Foul ball. Here's the next pitch from Davis. That's going to be tapped lightly. The second baseman. It's going to take quick hands, and he has them. Deshaun Cole throws him out. Nice play.
There's a little style over there at second base as well.
So that's 2 outs. And Hunter Robinson comes in for the last gasp for the Bulldogs in this 9th inning. Here's the pitch. That's in between right and left, and that'll be ball game. Fly out to right field. Martinez will squeeze it, and that'll be your victory for the Central Methodist Eagles, 17-8.
They improved to 44-6 on the season, an .880 winning percentage. Not too bad for these Eagles. McPherson drops this one by a score of 17-8, as you see there on the box score. They fall to 37-14 overall. Again, it is Doane and Benedictine Mesa coming your way just about 35-40 minutes from now. For Dominic Hosher, who started this game with me, and Dan Kinney, my partner now, Tim Miller, our producer for this one. I am Colin Surrey saying so long for this one. Join us just 35 minutes from now. Benedictine Mesa taking on Doane University, coming your way next.